That's fine by me. Alright, make sure we're live on YouTube, because we're clearly live on TikTok. Howdy, crazies.
Yeah.
Just click on your channel. Isn't there a way to do that? And you have to go to videos.
Or videos.
Yeah, and then hit the live. And then click it. The 40.
40's not up there yet.
Is it not popped up? Well, that's...
Not yet.
Well, this is Crazy Peas. We'll see how long it takes to launch on YouTube. I don't know, I just typed in Crazy Peas. But that's me.
Bunch of random stuff comes up.
Yep. Type in the podcast name, just type in Crazy Peas. Nope. Yeah, you're not gonna get it that way.
I'm just gonna assume we're live because showing live right there.
Why not? So this is
Crazy Peas. I am TPAW.
I am Karnage 6778, or as I like calling myself here, and everybody else calls me, the Karnage.
It's the show where we make a bunch of people laugh or a bunch of people pissed off and we have fun while doing it.
Or cry. That's always
Yes.
a new one.
Exactly.
Alright, well, if you want to double check, go make Juju pull it up on the computer in the bedroom while I ramble about crazy shit.
Yeah. I'll go in there and talk real quick.
Yep, just don't kick the machine running the cast. So, let's see, who joined? A few people have joined. Hi guys, how's it going? We're trying to double check, make sure this is Crazy Peas on YouTube is actually working, so give me a minute. Waiting on the co-host TPAW to come back. It's TPAW Wolfric on Amazon for his books, and one is not within reach for me to grab. Yeah, just look him up on Amazon. T.P.A. Wolfric. WULFRIC. And I don't remember if there's a K. I don't think so. I think I spelled that right. So look up his books on Amazon, because that's where he publishes all of his. It's a dark fantasy, but the first, I think, book or two is from the teenager point of view. His characters, the situations that's happening, and all of his characters are vampires who are going through what it would be considered like high school for vampires. The main character, Peter, his dad is the king of vampires, and they find out also, or interact with, because his brother, I think it's the brother of Peter, is a dream walker, excuse me, and brain processed information. And they deal with a demon who thinks he's basically Lucifer, but he's not, but he's the high-end demon that they deal with in the books, who, from their point of view, is being the bad guy, but he's not a bad guy. He's actually an antagonist, because from his point of view, he's trying to help them, but it's like most stories, he's literally viewed as the bad guy from all accounts and workarounds, even though, because of the way he's trying to help them, it's the bad guy mentality of, I'm not actually trying to hurt you, I'm trying to help you, like with Lucifer, or not Lucifer, Brain, no, Lex Luthor, yeah, that's where my brain, because of the last name went straight to Lucifer, but how Lex Luthor in Superman is actually trying to help everybody, but he doesn't like Superman, the guy who has basically godlike powers, not just stopping all crime, just every once in a while putting his toe in to try to fix everything. So yeah. Well, what's the demon's name in your book?
Braxton.
Yeah, Braxton. He's the not bad guy, given the bad guy title.
He's the villain by proxy simply because the fact that.
Well, I used your word. He's the antagonist who
Yes.
everybody thinks is the bad guy, but he's not an actual bad guy.
Yeah, and the way the story is framed, I took some influence from Elm Street and said, okay, what if in this place there was a thing that happened that we don't know about yet? It's like a mystery box. A thing that happened in this city, in this place where everybody lives, and magic stuff happened, and Braxton, by proxy, was turned into the bad guy by proxy because the way that everything's framed in the story, the way everyone perceives him, and yet he is not truly the bad guy, he's just one of the malevolent forces, but really he's just chaotic neutral. He's just chaotic in general, and will end up playing a surprise ally later on, but he's basically the monster behind the curtain. The one that you end up running into when it's kind of like Freddy Krueger, only if Freddy Krueger ended up becoming your friend a couple times. And
Freddy Krueger,
that's like the
in
inspiration.
the way of he's an ethereal entity.
Yes.
But different than Freddy, because Freddy's a bad guy because he's a serial killer.
Braxton is
and he's
more
trying to torment the town because they burned him
Yeah.
alive. But Braxton is trying to help everybody from what they see as the bad guy point of view.
He's
but
kind of
he's
like
not. Like I said, he's like Lex Luthor. He wants humanity to be good and in a better place, and hates Superman because he has infinite powers, basically a god-level entity who literally doesn't do everything he could to stop all the evil in the world. And that's why Lex Luthor is seen as the bad guy, even though Lex Luthor isn't really a bad guy. 90% of the time, or 80% of the time. Because most of Lex's, like, the character background in most of the stories, TV shows, and whatnot is, he's not actually the biggest bad guy. He's just the biggest, person that Superman has to go against. He's not actually trying to destroy the world, he's trying to fix it, but he's doing it in the bad guy, basically the chaotic way to do it, and he doesn't give a shit about anybody's feelings. At least that's my viewpoint on it.
yeah. And everyone
It's
gets to
like
have a take on
Lucifer's
it.
the bad guy because that's his title, not because he's actually a bad guy. He became the bad guy because of what happened to him, but originally he was just the older brother saying, can we not do this? Because a lot of people are going to get screwed given the option to do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah. He's the gatekeeper of souls who is in charge of making sure that souls go where they need to when they die, and is in charge of moderating the living while helping the dead, helping, death, angels of death.
Say happy birthday to my friend Lauren.
Happy birthday, Lauren. Happy birthday, Lauren. You're one day older. Or one more year around, one more trip around the sun.
No, see, here's the funny part. Birthdays, you're not actually 1 year old. It's not your first birthday at 1 year. It's actually your second birthday. And technically, every birthday is not actually a birthday because you're only born once. So it's the work on words like I always talk about Constantine putting together the Holy Bible to create the Catholic Church to keep the Roman Empire going, but yet saying, look, we're Christianity, with it not actually being Christianity.
Yeah. It's in the Game of Thrones terms, it is Happy Name Day, and then in Swedish terms, it's just simply Name Day. It's interesting. I was talking to my buddy Jonas, who he actually said that in Sweden, I hope I'm interpreting this right, but in Sweden, basically every day is a day of a name for somebody over there, but especially when it's their birthday. When it's their birthday, it's like a double name day, and so it's your name day.
The way I see that, and I like that, like mythos and whatnot, but that's like it's the Norwegian, the Norse version of a birthday.
Which I'll be drawing from for my Santa Claus story.
Oh yeah,
I'm revisiting that. I'm revisiting
Claus. One
Claus.
of the things that they went into on Metaphysical podcast that I watched before I rewatched the special. You didn't watch because you fell asleep, but
Yes.
I'll forgive you for the sleep. You needed it. But it's the they were talking about how I lost my train of thought. Hang on, rewind. Oh, the hat that was part of the I can't remember. It begins with an M. Pagan religion for like the upper ends, the Metastopheles or get off the fucking jackets. But whatever. It literally is the Santa Claus hat, the fluffy hat.
Yeah.
Always pointing forward, and the little ball is literally sitting here.
Yeah.
And they also went over how that's how they always draw or painted the three wise men.
Huh.
And all of this stuff. Like
Yeah.
with Constantine, they always paint him seeing the vision that supposedly Jesus gave him, even though technically, because the guy did a, what was it? I said it a minute ago. Remote viewing it, all the remote viewers that viewed it, he never had a vision. He literally used it to turn paganism and call it Christianity.
Huh.
Like I've been preaching for fucking years.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been telling you about this shit forever, but it kind of goes into how literally all the facts and all the stuff we've been saying is literally coming forth now, and it's like, doesn't this sound like the end of times? Eventually, all the facts will be told about everything, and how who was lying will come forth because literally they will find a way, or everybody will see that they were lying. So it literally goes back into my whole thing.
Yeah.
And I also think it's funny that all the stuff I've been seeing, they're like, well, the Mormons or the Mormonists and stuff. It's like, no, it's members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. See, y'all propagandize calling the members Mormons. So it's just something that a lot of the church, I mean, I know a lot of people who also haven't accepted it because it's literally been said by the prophet, don't use that in our own personal, stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Don't use LDS, don't use Mormon, because that's not what we are. That's not the church. That's just the name of the book.
Yeah.
It's literally just an account from a tribe of, one of the tribes of the 12 tribes of Israel, that one of the families in the tribe that left Israel before everything went to shit, and they got, I think it was the first or second time that the temple was destroyed, and they got dragged to Babylon as slaves. It was right before, I think, the first or second time. And they came over to the Americas.
Yeah.
And the ones who were part of the family, but few, because the youngest brother was the one who was the most, righteous and actually listened to God and, did the stuff that you should do, that you've been raised to do, sort of thing, on how to be a good human, which kind of goes into the Judaic Israelite religion, because it's the 12 tribes of Israel, but everybody calls it Judaism, even though it's not the Judaic religion, it's actually the Israelite religion.
Yeah.
Because it's the 12 tribes of Israel. Judah was one of the 12 tribes. See, this is my big bitch about religion and the whole freaking dynamic that the whole world looks at it about. It's like, quit looking at it, it's such a small scale. It's just fucking big.
That's also why, I myself don't deny all the gods, any of the gods that exist.
Yeah, because
I delved into so many of the
me
different
and you
gods.
talked about that before, and then when I started going back to church, you're like, why? Doesn't that, go against everything you ever told me? I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's
And
the
I've
only thing I
deep
thought.
dived it with you so much, you're like, that all fucking fits.
Uh-huh.
Which proves everything I've ever been told about anything has been a lie, or nobody has had enough facts to tell me the full truth. And that's where I laugh, because that's where the whole Mormon LDS being sex within the church comes into play, because it's, you only know from being somebody who came into the church, or 2 or 3 generations back being in the church, where this stuff was no longer talked about on the regular between members of the church or between parents and kids.
Let
Where
alone the fact that
the
they just don't
multi-dimensional,
isolate
reality,
it.
like the multiverse sort of thing.
Yeah.
Multi-dimensional, multiversal thing, how it's all happening simultaneously, all the time, repeatedly, everywhere.
Yeah. And the interesting thing there too is the fact that what you're talking about there is when groups of people, families, cities, people will try to isolate the idea of like what their religion
what they
means.
think the ideal is
Right,
from what they've learned because they
the
haven't learned the
preferential-
full truth.
Yeah, the preferential bias, what they want their religion to mean. And so because that is the thing that gets spread around a lot, it ends up turning into religious trauma and generational trauma and all those
And
other
just
things.
bad information because
Right.
nobody knows the full truth.
Right.
And that's like me telling you with some of the stuff I was told by mom and dad growing up in the church that I never heard anywhere else. Or like with the whole like temple prep BS.
Mhm.
Being told well, God's name is Elohim. Well, no shit. I thought everybody knew that.
Yeah.
It's like, well, duh. It's like, what do you mean, well, duh? I'm like, I've always known that. That's like a known fact.
Yeah.
That from my spiritual connection of how connected I am to my spirit and the other realms around us, I thought that was a duh. You tell me something, my brain goes, well, duh.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even have to think about it. It's like, I thought that was obvious.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And my brain goes, how does nobody like know this stuff? Or why is this not something that's always talked about? Or even the Judaic or Israelite name. Because I'll actually call it Israelite because it's not Judaic. It's actually Israelite name. But from the 12 tribes of Israel, what they called him, Yahweh.
Yeah. I keep calling him Yahweh. Every time I talk to anybody about God anymore lately, it's been Yahweh. It's not even because I'm Jewish. It's just that's the name that pops up in my head.
Yeah, right.
And especially
And
after
for me,
what
it's
happened with the
instantly
God
Elohim.
radio.
Because as soon as the person said that to me, I'm like, well, duh.
Yeah.
And I'm not even thinking about it. I'm like, I thought that was obvious.
Like the common association of God, the common
Is Yahweh
name.
or Elohim. Those are the two main names given to him.
or not around
And,
me.
and
Whatever.
Allah from the...
When I'm associating with anyone, whether it's my relatives, whether it's people on the street that happen to know what God is, or friends, family, or whatever.
Anybody and
The
everybody,
the common name known is just simply God.
Yeah.
And so whenever I say Yahweh, I'm pretty sure I throw people off, and they're like, "When did you become Jewish?" And I'm like, "I'm not." And it's because I've been told that's what Jewish name is.
Because what they don't realize is God is a title. That's why it's Yahweh, Elohim, or Allah from the Islamic branch. And the funny part is, it's the same God, just different names. It's like Ra. You mean Amen Ra? Or do you mean Ra before he merged with Amen? And that's why, which kind of goes into the Catholic thing, you know, the Romans literally trying to keep the Roman, Constantine keeping it as the Roman Empire is literally controlling the world. Yeah, the Catholics are literally trying to control the world. And they have this giant library underneath in wherever the hell the place is in Rome, where the capital of
They've also held
the
the
Catholic
stranglehold.
Church. They literally have a million and one things hidden in their library that either proves the facts that, like, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, what everybody calls Mormons, literally proves that that's actually a more correct church than your Catholic Church, and it proves your Catholic Church is literally a Luciferian church or paganist church pretending to be Christian.
This is an interesting factor that you keep bringing up, yeah?
Well, I mean, it's the thing. If it's hidden and it's known knowledge,
Yeah.
and it should be known by everybody, but you're hiding it, that means you're literally hiding the truth because you don't want the truth to come out, because if the truth comes out, you look like Satan himself, or literally the guy who's sitting next to Satan going, yeah, I got this, just keep giving me the info, I'll tell all these stupid bitches.
Yeah.
They'll literally feed into the propaganda because they think I'm talking to God, not you. They think I'm talking to your dad or your brother, not you.
Yeah.
And then that's like my big bitch about God the Father, God the Son, and the Holy Ghost, or Holy Spirit, however you want to say it, but from what I grew up, it's the Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
Because ghost is an ethereal being. A spirit is somebody who had a physical form. And if he's never had a physical form, then he's ghost by definition, because a ghost is an entity who never had a physical form. A spirit is somebody who's had a physical form and hasn't left. Now, you can have a cross line on both of those, but it's literally, a spirit and a ghost are literally talking about somebody who's not living on this plane, who's living on the fourth or fifth dimension, who comes in and out of this plane of existence, in the three-dimensional, fourth-dimensional. Because this is not a three-dimensional world. It's a 3.5 dimension, because it's the crossroads of the third and fourth dimension. Because we can only see the fourth dimension in a certain way in a linear path. That's why you get 1 year older and you can only see it from where you began and memories to where you end.
Yeah.
And once you end and become or leave your physical form behind, you literally have no restrictions. You can go anywhere and everywhere at all times and see the truth of reality. So you can no longer deny what you can see.
Yeah, and some people out there, and this thing that I thought was interesting and decided to ask the God Radio about is that
okay. It's not God radio, it's extra dimensional radio. Remember, it's just a different dimension you're listening to.
Yeah. I'm just
But
saying.
I mean, it's kind of like, I understand why you say God radio, because you get that from Supernatural with the angel radio.
Just the way my brain processes it.
Well,
I literally will say something of how my brain processes it, and everyone tells me it's wrong, and I'm like,
well, no, I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm saying I like your wording,
right.
because most people understand it from the supernatural point of view.
Right.
Because that's mainstream. That became one of the mainstream media shows. Even though at the beginning everybody's like, "What is this stupid show?" And
Right,
I watch it because I'm
about...
like, "This is funny," because they're not putting in all the facts, but they're putting in enough facts about what everybody would consider monsters or other entities that aren't mortal.
Right.
And I just laugh because they get so close, but yet they leave out just enough because either they don't know, or it's just they don't tell everybody, because if you give 100% facts, people will do stupid shit.
Yeah. Well, it's basically the X-Files. It's the X-Files with monsters.
Yeah.
With supernatural monsters and then
but they always try
deities.
to stop the monsters.
Yeah,
and I like it when they started getting into the seasons with the one guy who was a werewolf who didn't know he was a werewolf and always lived as a human. Mm-hmm. And then when he found out he was a werewolf, he's like, wait, what?
And then he had to figure out what that meant. And then they, of course, had to throw in the curveball of, like, what being killed.
He became as close to not being a monster as the presumption that, okay, you're going to become a monster because you're going to, go this path because that's where they all go.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that they ended up to the thing where he actually became an ally and a help in a lot of their shit, and not the idiot who just got transformed into a monster who they have to kill because he doesn't have any control.
Right.
Because of the way his brain worked with his ADHD and other stuff with the character that you can obviously see he's part autistic too, that because of those things, he was able to not go full freaking nuclear mode.
I love what they did with Garth, because he was one of my favorite characters, and
right?
What was even more badass is when Garth is talking to Dean about Bobby. And Dean makes a comment with Sam about how Bobby's like their dad. And Garth literally stops doing his tracks and goes, I had Bobby too. And he's like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, when you guys are out doing your thing as the brothers, and you guys are out hunting monsters and whatever,
doing all your usual
doing
shit.
your normal shit, like,
without me or anybody else around. Yeah.
He's like, when I was here, and especially when I got stuck here, I had Bobby too. He was my dad too. And it hit hard. Like, I was watching it, I'm like, you got a point. Why does Dean and Sam get to have a monopoly on everything?
Because they're the main characters in the TV show. It's like, what is it? The meme or the saying, main character energy. But you have to realize you're not the main character.
Right.
And if you can see yourself as not the main character, then you can see reality. Like I've been talking about for the last 2 months straight now on this podcast.
Yep.
About how if you don't always see yourself as the main character, you can see what reality actually is, and see how you are just a pawn in a game of chess between God and Lucifer.
Too funnier is I ended up getting turned in. Like, I've had people years ago try to turn me into sidekick, and then I had other people recently turn me into that legacy character that shows up and spits some advice at the main character, and the reader goes, "Oh, this is so smart and intelligent," and everything, and then you're just like, I thought that was fucking obvious, you dumbass.
Well, I love it when you tell me, I'm like, wait. You told him some random shit I told you from your point of view, from what you learned from my crap.
Yep.
And they literally went, that's genius,
and I'm like going, genius? And you look at me and go, genius?
it's like, genius, I thought this was like common everyday knowledge.
It's logic. Common sense. It happens.
But see, there's the funny part though, that also goes into the whole common sense argument. Is it common sense, or is it just common sense for me because of the life I've lived?
Yeah.
Which is why I like doing the podcast, because I can spout it out into the ether, and either people will pick it up on TikTok Live, or they'll pick it up on TPAW's Playground, Crazy Peace podcast, and go watch the whole thing or previous episodes, and then they'll become fans because of the us reviewing or talking about shows or movies and comedy and other stuff also, but it's the how I deep dive into the ethereal realm constantly, because that's just where my brain is and where my consciousness / where I am.
Right.
And you've picked up on a lot of it, and me telling it to you and you spreading it around, I'm not even trying to freaking, and I made this joke to Mom the other day, not trying to, but telling you all the truths I know.
Mm-hmm.
I've literally turned you into the proper convert into the church. The only thing you haven't done is been baptized. But even if you were going to get, or when you're ready to get baptized, it's literally, you're going to ask me to do it, and I know it. Because I've literally spouted all of my knowledge to you, and you see how my knowledge of reality and what I learned growing up in the church and being told truth by my mom and my dad, more by my mom because she's never lied to me, she's always been 100% honest with me. Whether she realizes it or not, she spouts truth just by talking to you.
Yeah.
And my grip on reality has always never been in the third or fourth dimension. It's always been from the fifth and sixth dimensional viewpoint.
I always weird people out when I say that the two divine voices I end up listening to are Loki and Yahweh.
Yeah.
Out of all the gods, there's many that you can listen to. Those are what I end up, hearing from the most.
Well,
them as a team, Loki
because
and Yahweh.
You're like me, very chaotic in nature, and love watching the chaos around you happen. Just laugh at the stupidity of the show that's happening around you.
I have absorbed so much of your freaking essence and chaos and shit. Because I used to be like that. I was the eldest child who would try to do the right thing, right? I was kind of like Dean Winchester, the soldier of the family. Like,
I have to be this way.
Yeah, gotta do what the dad wants, gotta do what the mom wants, or at least try. And yet you got the younger sibling, the middle child, Andrew, who was constantly breaking rules, constantly trying to be the center of attention, even still does to this day. Has to be obsessed with being center of attention.
It's the
must
middle
be
child
the center.
syndrome.
Yeah, middle child syndrome. He has to be the center, and he has to
just like Todd.
Throw a giant temper tantrum if he's not the center. Then you got Nico,
I mean, look
who's
at Todd.
mildly
Todd
broken.
Does it, even though Todd's like, well, I don't care about y'all's opinions about me,
Right.
but I want to tell you all this shit that's happening to me, or look how I've literally gone off the deep end again.
Yeah, so involuntarily I end up taking care of them or trying to help take care of them.
Not, that's what they do. Yeah.
Yeah,
Keep
and
going.
then and because of the fact that I've absorbed a lot of it, now I used to get like super pent up over like politics, this, that, bunch of stuff.
Everybody else's prejudice
absorb all the prejudices, all the interwar stuff, and
you might need to
and now it's like
forward a little bit the
what?
phone.
This?
Yeah, because it's not getting your full face. You keep leaning your head up.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. So that way, when you lean your head up to
now you're
to
half
do
in the comments.
Your thought process.
Yes. But it's like so like.
I keep seeing you go off camera, but keep going.
Yeah. So eldest child syndrome that I've had for all my life, and
I
so
never had that issue.
and now so suddenly out of nowhere I'm hanging out with you a bunch of shit and everything like that. Nico
started dragging you to the gym.
Nico kept telling me accept the chaos, accept it, love it, be passionate about it, and I kept fighting it because my upbringing and shit. And now it's to the point where lately, especially this last year, I'm just like, I'll watch people fight about a controversial figure and I'll laugh.
Or
and I'll be like,
stupidest thing that doesn't matter, right?
Right. And then like I'll watch like everyone get all heated or share memes or get caught up in the maelstrom of social
BS.
contract and emotion of like, oh, we must care about this or we have to cancel this person. It's like, well,
the
for one,
propaganda
and I go, and my brain goes, wait a minute, so you're wanting to cancel this person? That's murder, right? Oh wait, you're meaning metaphorical cancel if feeds your ego cancel. That's what you're meaning because you're broken. Oh wait, no, you're meaning you want to make everyone think that you're a good person by saying you're canceling him for offending that person, but really you're not actually appealing to what you actually are. You're just appealing to what the system tells you to be. Got it!
Or
and
what you think you should be as being a white person
or whatever. Yeah.
Whatever your
and I sit back, and I'm like absorbing all this, and I'm like going, this is so funny and interesting, and then I realize that I become so damn far in the chaotic neutral side of things that I can watch it and not even be incited or inflamed by it. Like last night I liked the fact that when I watched the fourth Republican debate, I could disconnect enough from what they were talking about and disconnect enough from what, whatever.
See that was going on,
yeah, whatever fights or barbs, and I noticed that it was weird because for like weeks it seemed like Ron DeSantis and the Rama guy were like duking it out, and then suddenly out of nowhere on this debate they just teamed up, and it was super weird. I was like, I'm noticing a change here. Did you guys do that consciously before the debate started?
And then somebody kicked DeSantis in the nuts and say, dude.
Right, and Nikki Haley was getting attacked verbally by both of them. Like they were both just going in on her. And so of course Chris Christie.
If she's the oddball and always the one screaming and yelling,
she's kind of like the
click. Ready,
she's kind of like the typical conservative lady who tries to play by the rules, and then everyone
also has her feminist viewpoint.
Right, and everyone tries to gaslight her into thinking that she did something wrong. Or they'll pull things from the internet that say, this is what you said you did, and then they go, that's not true. And I heard like that's not true like 80 times. And then
why I don't watch stuff.
And then Christie himself was like, all credit to Christie. I don't like Christie that much. I really don't. Like he always kind of comes off as the guy who's like, he gets pissed off when things do go his way, and then when the media decided to frame him as being a coward of Donald Trump, he played his role the way you typically do when you're a politician. But this time on this show, it was like he decided, I'm going to be Donald Trump.
True.
Yeah.
He decided to do what he did the first debate and be like, you know what, I'm tired of trying to be the guy
trying to play the roles
that you guys want me to play. Here I am.
Yeah.
Kiss my ass and go fuck yourself.
Stood for Nikki Haley as a woman. Told Rama to go F himself about, insulting her intelligence and her person versus her achievements.
Isn't that all the debates are nowadays?
And then he stood up for the American people, and then he everything that I thought that he was half-ass about, right? He ended up bringing back into the forefront. The whole must stand up for the president's seat, no matter what president it is, and no matter whether you like him or not. Brought that back. Yeah. Talked about it again.
You don't have to like the guy, but y'all voted him, so at least respect that he got your approval to get the seat. After that, everything that he fucks up on, fuck him. We see where he screwed up. Let's try to put in somebody who's not as big a fuck up.
And then because of the trials of Trump,
about Trump was all bullshit anyways, and everybody's seen that now. It's like, really?
And what's funny is he harkened back to that. He's all like, I stood up for him when I was serving with him in office. I stood up for him multiple times. I took the fall over and over again. He's like, but now he's no longer in office. I do not have to do that anymore. He's a corrupt bully. He will do anything out of nowhere to do whatever.
I don't think Trump is corrupt. He is a bully.
I'm quoting Chris Christie.
Well, no, I understand. I'm giving my
I do
point
not
of view
know
from
Donald
hearing
Trump
that.
personally, so I cannot.
From hearing that, I'm
speak
telling
to
you from what I know from him.
Yeah.
And from what I've actually seen of him, actually seen him do and or say, or like other people said about him. That's
you guys will learn from me that I will literally be so neutral about something it might piss you off, because he will say something about a controversial figure, and I will sit back and I will look at the pros and cons, and I will say I cannot personally speak to this particular matter, but I will say this, and this about the subject from my limited knowledge, and then I'll involuntarily piss off a couple of friends I have, or family members, or other people who want me to jump in on their prejudicial bias, and I'll be like, neutral, chaotic neutral.
But see, you know me, I'm all about the chaos in everything, lawful and, unlawful.
Yeah. I look at all
literally
sides.
the good guy, bad guy, chaotic, lawful. I'm all rolled into one. That's why I call myself true neutral, because he can be an asshole, because he is an asshole.
He was funny when he made a joke about being a
he
tyrant.
doesn't actually lie about the facts.
It was funny for 5 seconds about him. I don't know if you saw it, but he recently was like, they were like, would you be a dictator if you were to run an office? Like, it was their normal bullshit where they incite the person with a question.
Oh, yeah. And I've heard about it. I haven't seen
what
it.
could easily be a joke at the gym, or could easily be something that we just kind of throw away offhand, and everyone just writes it off because they're a politician anyway. The newscaster decided to ask Donald Trump.
They can't see.
They decided to ask Donald Trump, straight on, and Donald Trump was like, "I'll be a dictator about drilling and about a couple other things, and after that, after day one, I'm no longer a dictator." It was like him trolling the audience, and I'm like, watch this, and I'm like,
well, yeah, the one guy who does like
he's a troll.
the old fogies, Gen X, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and all this, and millennials and everything in between.
Yeah.
One of his little like shorts he does, because I watch him on like YouTube more than I do on TikTok, on Instagram, because I scroll through Insta.
Yeah.
Because I get this stuff faster.
This is him in the car. Phone's propped up on this exact phone you guys are watching us on. Propped up on a thing in his car. He's sitting in the driver's seat. I'm sitting in the passenger seat. We're both smoking his shit, and he's doing this. Play. Watch the video for like a minute. Wait, no. Come here. Heart. Fuck off. I love that guy. And that's funny. That's hilarious. Let me go ahead and send that to you.
I've already heard this, and this person is just using another person's
a lot of
video
swiping.
to replay it. It's like, I've already seen that one. Ooh, there's a good one. Let's actually hear what they say. You're an idiot, but that was funny. I'll give you a
Sometimes
like.
I feel like the third party because his phone is like his wife, and he'll like really talk to the phone like it's his wife, and like, or he'll talk to the media app like it's his friend or his wife or whatever.
See, there's the funny part. It is not an unconscious entity.
Yes.
It listens to me. Siri listens to you, just like Alexa and all the other bullshit listens to you. So I will literally talk to it, so that way it knows, okay, he thought that video was stupid. Oh, I've seen this 1,000 times. Okay, we need to quit feeding him this stuff. I literally talk to my phone, because if I don't talk to it, it keeps giving me the same shit repeatedly. Fuck off, I've not seen that 30 times. Give me something new.
Yeah, he'll literally call.
The whole reason I talk to the phone
literally press
it's
the
actually
voice activated button and be like, they're like, no, sexy bitch, don't do that. Not like the other dumb shit. And then he'll be
okay,
like,
I've already
come on,
seen
bitch.
this sort of thing.
Yeah, he'll be like, come on, sexy, it worked for me. And then he'll talk dirty to the phone and shit, and I'm just kind of going, foreplay, eh?
Well, it's not even that. I mean, you gotta twiddle her button just right, so that way she'll do what the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Just like a real woman.
Yeah. He's like, well, I can't do this with my actual wife who's about to divorce me, so I might as well do it with this bitch. And I'm like, looking at your phone, and he's like, yeah, same diff.
I mean, it's an iPhone, so yes, it's my bitch. I paid for her. She's mine. Come at me, people. Not like I care. It's like the whole Matt Rife thing at the end of his special, which you have to watch.
Yes.
He literally goes over how people come at him on Instagram or social media, and he'll go back twice as hard as you come at him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that sounds like me and Nephi, my bro.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you know what? That's how you have to be. You have to be a hard ass. That's like when you sent me the link to the YouTube, and I went to the Daily Wire Plus to see the full Jordan Peterson talking to Matt.
Yeah.
And I just had to laugh because all this stuff they were literally saying, I'm like, that is literally the way I view the entire world. What are they like? I need to hang out with these fuckers. I need to get rich so that way I can just go hang out with these assholes for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson, Matt Rife. There's about 10 other names on that list.
Yep.
That literally just get super rich so that way I can go, hey, what are you doing this week? What? Who the hell are you? Shut up, I'm a multimillionaire. I just want I want to have lunch with you. I'll pay. When, where, let's do it. Just for shits and giggles.
Yes.
Become so dominant, rich, or become so famous, they're like, we like you. Can we have you on our podcast? You pay for the plane ticket, I'm good. I'll literally go.
Yeah.
They'll pay for the plane ticket. I'll fork out my own money and upgrade to first class, sit on my ass, goof off until I get there and go and do what I do here. Just shoot the shit and speak my truth.
Yeah.
I'll literally pull an Andrew Tate and do whatever the hell I want. Either you like me or you hate me. Fuck off, I don't care.
Yeah.
If you want me to come so you can try to rip me a new asshole, let's have fun. Because it's not going to end up being exactly how you think it's going to be. I mean, you see that every week. We come in with an idea. We run with it for like half an hour to an hour, then I just go off on random bullshit.
Yep.
Because my brain is everywhere all at once, always freaking processing a million and one different freaking things coming into my brain.
Yep.
It can give you a headache. No, it's just all mostly joints.
Okay,
A couple
all
of them
joints.
are just dots.
You guys got to see my hand for 5 seconds. You're welcome for that macro video.
Anywho. But I mean, my whole viewpoint on this thing is, if I become famous, awesome. If I don't, well, at least I had fun.
Yeah.
It's more of, I'm not doing it to become famous. If I become famous and become super rich because I became famous, and I'm not like everybody else who's ever become famous, I'm the goofball, I'm down.
Yeah.
I'll be like, Burt Kreischer, I can't remember the guy he does Two Bears, One Cave podcast with, Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson, now Matt Rife, and all the other people who became famous without trying to become famous.
Yeah.
It's the thing. Oh, I didn't try. I'm just out there and everybody's shit everywhere, seeing all y'all being idiots over everything, and I talk about it to everybody all the time.
Yeah.
And put my viewpoint on, if they just stop doing this, or if they get over their own hindrances in this way,
Yep.
dude, they'd be like 10 times better.
Pretty
But now
much.
that they're famous, they have to try to stay in their little bubble. Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
I'm not staying in anybody's bubble but mine, and my bubble's so big. Try and pop it. You pop it, guess what? It'll just grow back to the same size.
Yeah, just keep going up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no,
I think I was the
uh,
first one to spout before Tate became famous for it. Try and cancel me, bitch. This ain't my channel.
And even if they canceled my channel, I could just create a new email.
Right? We just...
They're
Dude,
free.
I already have like 3 extras. It's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna use this one, this. We'll just rebrand and change the name and run
Yeah,
with it.
literally, a lot of people forget that YouTube is predicated off of whether or not you have a Gmail account or any kind of email account, and those are free typically. So you can just start up a
99% of the time,
new email, new everything. The only thing that sucks is that you'd have to rebuild your exposure or rebuild like whatever you had built with your YouTube channel previously.
Well, that's like X, aka Twitter. It's the you tweeted out the video or the link to the stuff. It's like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get a link this week. Did you go to the channel? Because we say we do this every day, every time. You know, this day of the week, every week. No, that's your fuck up, not mine for not showing up because you knew I was gonna do it. Because I literally said at the end of the last episode, all right, see y'all next week.
Yep. Not to mention the fact that it pops up anyway if you subscribe. Which reminds me, subscribe, please.
Yes,
And like.
subscribe and like on YouTube.
Yep.
Follow me on TikTok so that way you can see this lunacy every Thursday if you're enjoying the hell out of our craziness.
Yes. If you're liking our weirdness and our smart assery, there you go.
It says 0 followers, but last time I think last week we had like, excuse me, 63 people who watched.
Something like that.
But the week before we had like 100 and something.
Yeah, the week before that, like it was crazy
It bombed fast.
because I saw it fucking skyrocket like crazy, and I'm like, wow, maybe I need to be on TikTok more because I like spend a lot of time, you know, not necessarily praising TikTok or using TikTok a lot.
I mean, even the wife, your wife, my little sister said, well, most of those titties and ass chicks that are like subscribing to you are probably bots. Good. Let the bots come watch me. The more bots that watch me means I have better numbers. Come watch. Watch me just to say you hate everything I say, because guess what? The more you bitch and complain on the comments, or the more you bitch and complain,
Yep.
you're watching all my crap. Thank you for being a fan.
Yeah.
That's like, I mean, I've even heard Andrew say it. You hate me, but you watch all of my crap. How much do you like being my fan?
Yeah, so if you hate me, then that means it must mean you love me somehow.
Because the way the brain works, love and hate come from the same portion of the brain. It's almost the exact same chemical reaction.
And did you know that most TV shows that are hate watched actually get kept alive because of the hate watching?
Oh yeah.
Like
people
Velma.
watch it
Velma.
bitch about it.
Velma season 2 is getting created now by HBO Max because of how many men hate watched Velma.
Yeah, they watch so that way they could take clips with their phone or with another device and literally put their face on the bottom end and do shorts or full video about how it was stupid and not like the original Velma. But because they gave it so much popularity talking about how it was stupid, more people watched it to see how stupid it was. And they got enough people and made enough money off it, like, stupid.
I literally
season.
forgot about Velma like a month after it came out because I realized I'm like, this ain't my cup of tea.
I heard about it, and then I'm like, why do I care? It's not the original.
Wife watched about
Scooby-Doo,
half the first season, I think, and then life happened like it always does, and we got distracted. And I had seen pieces of the episode with her, but because of the fact that it wasn't even jiving with me at all, and I was obviously pissed about it, I was like, I don't focus on things that piss me off typically because I'm trying to find peace within myself, and this is counterproductive. And so I just kind of like there's enough stuff out there to distract you with anyway, so it just kind of became like a thing that I forgot. And then recently Google was like, by the way, Velma's been renewed for a second season, and I'm like, really?
I don't care.
Okay, cool, good for them, I guess.
Well, it's the random thing because HBO Max, whatever the hell you want to call it, all the super expensive or only show titties after dark sort of like cable channels. Literally, they're all gonna merge, be one channel, and I'm sorry, HBO is owned or is a subsidiary of Time Warner, which is now a subsidiary or combined with whatever the other cable company was, which is now whatever the hell they're calling themselves for the internet and home security, blah blah blah. Everything's becoming one company, so buy the stocks or shut the fuck up and just watch the idiots try to literally propagandize you or laugh at how they're trying to propagandize everybody else like I do every fucking day. I literally laugh at the stupidity. I'll find one thing to watch just to see if it's funny. If it's funny, I'll watch just to get the laughs.
Right.
Other than that, I don't give a shit.
Right. Yeah, because it's just a show. It's just a story. That's the thing that I have to remind a lot of people of is I'm like, it's a fantasy show, right? Like, it's purely a luxury. Like, the fact that they were able to make it.
It's all complete bullshit, right?
The way that they were able to make it and stuff, it's a luxury. Everything involved in this is luxury. Like, you are able to watch people make a show, which is cool, and like Supernatural, for instance, they ran for 15 years. It wasn't
they
a
could have
requirement.
gone for another 5, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a requirement. They just wanted to keep paying for, that. They made the joke. They're like, well, we do need to get an extra trailer, and so they would, sign up for another season or whatever.
They had no more ideals at the end. They're like, we can't keep going. There's nothing else we can do.
It was clear by the time they got to the end of the 15th season that
the 14th season, at the end of it, they were starting to show we literally can do nothing. We're just going to bring in old characters.
Yeah, we're bringing old characters in, and then we're going to bring in Chuck himself as the bad guy.
Which is funny because that also goes into my thing where the Christian church, which was originally brought out by the Catholics, is literally a Luciferian church, and Supernatural goes into that how Lucifer isn't really a bad guy, he's just daddy's a dick.
Yeah.
And literally it shows daddy's dick. It's literally the Luciferian church showing that, you're all worshiping Satan, right? Because God looks like the bad guy. That's like Seven Deadly Sins, the anime. I literally told the kids the other day, but look what they're doing. The Seven Deadly Sins are the good guys, and the 10 Commandments are from hell. It's literally taking what the actual is and flip-flopping it, turning it into an anime to make you more of a Luciferian.
Interesting.
So whether you realize it or not, they're trying to propagandize you. And my kids are like, but it's a good cartoon. No, enjoy the cartoon. Just remember, 7 deadly sins are the good guys. The 10 commandments are apparently the demons, which literally means they're trying to
Could just be an inverted
propagandize
concept
you
of
to believing God is the bad guy, Lucifer's the good guy. No, that's literally the background story of the whole fucking series. I mean,
Really?
it's a good series as an anime. I have nothing wrong. I see nothing wrong with the series.
Yeah.
The wording and the way they do it is literally Luciferian. God's the bad guy. Lucifer's the savior.
Right.
Jesus is just an asshole older brother.
That's why I liked the TV show Lucifer itself, was the fact that it didn't focus on Lucifer a hero. It focused on Lucifer a reluctant anti-hero who
He's the bad guy because that's what
was
he told he had to
inevitably
be,
dragged
or that was
into
the job he was given,
being
whether
noble.
he wanted to or not.
And there was always this battle on Lucifer, the show, where he was always taking 5 steps forward in maturity and then would take 3 steps back after,
Two steps forward,
Yeah.
1 step back.
yeah, and
Concept,
he would move forward and then he'd move right back because he was always struggling with his maturity, and he was always the reluctant anti-hero
Him being
who was
supposed bad guy, yeah.
spent like so many millennia doing a job that he didn't want to do that his dad handed to him, that we all
They didn't hand
ourselves,
to him, told him he had to do. You don't
right?
have a choice.
That's still handing it to him. But
Well,
humanity itself views it as good or evil. As they view it as God is good, devil bad, and so therefore, Lucifer himself is stuck with kind of a complex. And I loved how they played with on the show.
see, I like the way the show did it
Yeah.
because that also feeds into my head. It's not he wanted to be the bad guy. He was literally created.
Kind of dragged into it.
No, he was created because that was his role.
Yes.
He was always meant to be that. That's
Again, dragged
who
into it.
he was created to be.
Yeah.
That's like me. I was always created to be this version.
Yes.
I have that's where the whole free will is truth but also a lie. Because as soon as you want to call him God, Yahweh, whatever title or name you want to give him, the entity or energy or the entity that can be physical or ethereal because he's that damn powerful,
Yeah.
literally made all of us, but because he's done this a million times
Yeah.
in a million different realities, in a million universes, million dimensions, to the infinite power, that many times over, he literally knew, oh, yeah, well, okay, that's going to be the outcome on this reality or on this earth that I'm literally telling Jesus to make because I'm showing him how to be God.
Yeah.
So I know what the outcome is because I've seen it happen a million and one times. Because one day to God is 1,000 years from this reality, this existence, and it literally says it, I don't even remember where, in some old biblical scripture or scroll.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally given, but it literally was one of the apocryphal gospels or something that they don't put in the Bible, that nobody really talks about. Even though most people know it because it's brought up in a lot of the churches. But yet they don't deep dive into that.
Yeah. I loved how the Lucifer show ended, by the way.
Oh, how he became the therapist?
He
for
became
them?
Linda.
Yeah.
And I loved how they ended it that way because it's just, when they spent the entire last season playing with the idea of like, what if he becomes God? And then what happened was every time they played with the idea more and more, they would show more reasons as to why he wasn't right for that role. And yet everyone would expect
But
him
see,
to become the new
that's
God.
the thing.
And then his brother
That's
became the new God.
Lucifer's hindrance,
Yeah.
which is why he's always considered the adversary to Jesus and God the
So I
Son and
found
God
it
the
amazing.
Father.
I found it amazing
because
how poetically became
he
a therapist.
wants to be that powerful, but
Yeah.
because he was created after Jesus, basically the first entity or intelligence that was created for this reality, there was less energy to make, so he's not as powerful as Jesus. And because he wasn't as powerful as God to create
Yeah.
other things,
To do creation.
to be able to create because of how much energy literally God the Father put into God the Son,
Yeah.
Jehovah, Jesus, whatever name you want to give him, even though that's not his proper name or how it's properly pronounced in the old Turan and Aramaic,
Yeah.
or Torah, or, yeah, Torah.
Torah. Because you got the Quran,
My
you
brain
got
went
the
somewhere
Torah.
else. I just combined them because, no offense, the
They kinda sound the
Quran's
same.
complete bullshit because it says that the books that are in the Bible, it recognizes, but yet it also counteracts and says do the exact opposite. So it literally proves itself as an apocryphal scripture.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It's literally anti what it says that is true, but here's more truth, even though it literally says, but everything that the Bible said, like Jesus is, or in the New Testament, that Jesus is literally the Christ, literally saying, but he's not the Christ,
Yeah.
and Muhammad is the prophet and the only prophet, fuck the rest of them, which
Yeah.
literally goes against what Jesus said, and, you know, it literally, him claiming to be Jesus while saying Jesus is just a prophet, not actually the Messiah or the Christ child.
Yeah.
the propagandizedness on it just irritates the shit out of me. That's why I looked into what somebody was saying that Andrew Tate's
or as I call him, Emery.
Yeah, right, his true name.
Mm-hmm.
How the type of Islam or Muslim that he went into literally says that literally the Muslim one he went into is the one that says Jesus is the Christ.
Yeah.
So I just laugh at that one.
It's
not sitting there right enough. It won't click. It's not tickling her hole just right.
Apparently not.
Now it is. Don't touch it anymore.
Yeah, I'm not touching
Let
it.
the bitch church. But anywho, it's and literally when I found out what it was, or from that one podcast where somebody asked him which Muslim sect he was in, and he told him, and he's like, oh, that's like the Mormons of the Muslims. So I did a deep, you know me, I do deep dives, and I found out literally they're the ones that the Muslims hate the most because they're the ones that are actually the closest to being a proper Muslim, a true Muslim in my opinion, which is like the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the true Christian.
Yeah.
Not the propagandized bullshit Christians that most other Christian churches are.
Yeah.
So they're the closest thing to being a true prophecy of Abraham's kids.
Yeah.
His or his descendants being the true entities of the world, which proves that all the other Muslim religions that cuss and scream that Jesus isn't the Christ, yet that one says Jesus is the Christ. It kind of goes to, so we're literally arguing who's the Messiah, the Judaic or Israelite
Yeah.
says Jesus isn't the Christ because he didn't do all of the prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, if you pay attention to the prophecies and in the order they said it would happen, he's going to die, come back, leave after resurrecting from the dead,
Yeah.
leave to go run the universe or do whatever else he's supposed to do as a God entity, and come back when it's time for him to come back to literally get us all to heaven or kick us straight to the fucking bucket.
Right. Which you keep expecting it to happen in the next 15 years.
Oh, I expect in the next 15 years flat. give or take a year or two. I'll give leeway.
Before you said 15 to 20, but that was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah. No, here recently it's like no, within 15 years. I say within because you got to give a little bit of room for adjustment.
Right.
And I think the first time I said 15 to 20 was in 19, before all the COVID bullshit happened.
It was initially 2019, and then in 2020, when you started coming back over,
I tried to dial it down.
Yeah, you dialed it down a little bit, and then like the following year you were still saying that number, and now it's been quite a few years since then. So you were
And
on
I've
3 and
lost
4.
track of how many years it's been. So it's like in this range, give or take 2 to 3 years, or 1 to 2 years.
Right.
You always got to give a hiccup. It's like, I'll be there in 5 minutes, give or take a few.
And now when people hear 15 years, they'll be like, well, that's a while away. It's like, not really.
Dude, I'm 40. 15 years ain't shit, bitch. Shut up.
Yeah, you're gonna be like 55 when that happens.
50, anywhere between the ages of 55 and 6 is when Jesus is coming back from my point of view.
Right.
Give or take a few years.
and with life in general, since it's gonna be 2024 in like less than a month.
Well, we're on the 7th.
Yeah.
So 24 days.
Yeah. So So basically, 2034 plus 5, so about 2039.
2039, 2040, yeah.
Yeah, is going to be what your projection is for that.
Give or take a few years, yeah.
Yep. It'll be interesting as fuck if that actually does happen.
No, but see, think about it this way. My kid's 13.
Yeah.
15 years, he should be an adult, have his own house, or still living at home, or, trying to be an adult.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny that people between 20 and 30, like, being an adult sucks. Welcome to reality.
Yeah.
And me, I mean, you've seen my life in the last few years.
Yep.
Go to complete shit, and I'm just sitting here like,
yeah, it's hell in a handbasket. You're just like, okay, whatever.
well, that's reality.
Yeah.
And everybody else is like, why aren't you angry? Why aren't you blowing up? Why aren't you having real emotions about it? I have emotions. I properly feel them. And then, okay, now that I felt what I needed to feel, okay, I'm done with that emotion. I need to move on and just become a bigger badass.
Right. Exactly.
There is no... I do not let my emotions hinder my movement forward and up, because if I did, I would always be stuck in the same shithole I've always been stuck in. And I'm against that for everybody, including myself.
Yeah.
That's why I always tell you all the lunacy that happens in my brain, and I throw it out here on the podcast, because either it will help other people become as enlightened as I am, or help other people who are near as enlightened as I am become further, and then I can have discussions like I do with you, with people who are as far as I am, or more further than I am, so that way I can also go up. If I drag everybody up with me, eventually some people are going to pass me, and then they're dragging me up.
Yeah.
I have nothing wrong with that. It's the Jesus complex.
Yeah.
Which, well, I mean, that's what people would call it, because I'm literally trying to save everybody's soul, but I'm honestly not. I'm just trying to enlighten everybody on what I see as reality. And if that enlightens your soul and gets you to the next level where you can help enlighten more people, then as far as I'm concerned, I'm on an upward freaking...
Yeah. It's a spiritual awakening, is how Russell Brand termed it.
Well, I see it as a dimensional awakening, because spiritual, from my point of view, is a fifth dimensional realm. If you don't know how to get to the fifth dimensional, or see from the fifth or sixth dimensional realm, then how can you help other people enlighten themselves? Because they're so stuck in the third or fourth dimensional box cube they're in.
And we've been using awakening type words for the titles too for the podcast.
Oh yeah, that's why I enjoy it. I think the podcast I used was Lunacy Rules or something.
For TikTok?
Yeah. That might be getting some people in, or they didn't even notice it, and they're just scrolling through the lives and listening to the lunacy.
Yep. And then they click on it. They're like, hey, what's up?
Yep, or they literally see it and go, okay, I like what they're talking about. I'm just going to sit here, shut up, and watch.
Yeah, for a little bit, and then
And either they're staying on TikTok, or they're literally going to TPAW's playground.
Yep.
And I told him it was TPAW, T.A.P. I mean, T.P.A.
Wolfric.
And Wolfric is the writer name, and Wolfric is W-U-L-F-R-I-C.
Yep, TPA Wolfric, and then...
And I'm like, I don't remember if it has a K on it, but it probably doesn't, so go look that up on Amazon and buy his books.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm literally promoting you at the beginning while you were double checking, making sure we were live on the YouTube.
Yeah, no, it's appreciated very much so. Yeah, no,
Well, if I propagandize you and make or throw out your advertisement for you.
propagandize.
Oh no, I'm propagandizing because I'm literally promoting you. And when you promote, you propagandize. I mean, if you look at it from a commercial point of view, I'm literally doing your commercial for you, so that way you make enough money, so that way you can buy a house that'll possibly have a grandfather or
Yeah.
grandma's suite, and I'll just move into the garage and I'll just be the badass who does nothing and is lunatic and literally just sitting there making boatloads of money, or literally just sitting there, not hindering anybody, and just going.
He'll literally just be the wise ass who's neighbors with Jose in the suite, and they'll both end up having like their own spaces. That's literally what when Amber or Gusto and I have joked around about before.
Levi even joked
she's
about
dead
it
set
about
on
me coming down there and him literally, me and him working to make that little shed out of the back of his house into a
into a place.
Yeah, into a grandfather's suite.
Yeah, no, I was telling.
But I would not go all the no
that.
offense to Fi, I wouldn't go all the way down there for one
Yeah.
reason. I can't be hearing podcasts.
Yeah.
I want to stay local so that way we can keep doing this. Let me say, I ramble on and you
Yeah.
throw in your tidbits of what you've seen or from my craziness, how it's helped other people, and I just enjoy the stories.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I just ramble for 3 hours, you tell me shut up so you can get a word in.
Which I've done before.
I expected, actually. But I also like that you like to listen to my crazy stories. And my new... How I haven't gone this deep on the podcast, but we've talked about it personally. I'm like, alright, I'm going to dive that deep on the podcast. Maybe explode or leak people's brains out of their ears or see what the hell happens.
Yep.
And it is no longer moving. Did I get canceled on freaking TikTok?
No, I've seen people get joined. And I'm seeing some stuff up here happen.
No, that always happens. That's the little commercials for us.
Oh.
But I'm saying I haven't seen that move up in a while.
I have.
Been the same hey, there we go. Now it's moving again.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean I hadn't seen it move up because it looked like it was the same 4 names.
Oh.
Or the same 4 pictures.
Well, while you were talking and stuff, whenever I look at the screen, I'm always watching to see what's changing, just to make sure it's moving.
I get so deep in my stories, or my view on reality, because they're not really stories. I mean, they are because they're from my point of view, but it's my viewpoint on reality and the lunacy and stupidity of people if they get past. It's like we've talked before, and you've said you've passed it on. Like, get out of your own way.
Yeah.
But I can't. Don't say can't. You can get out of your own way.
Yeah.
Because the more people that get out of their own way, dude, we all get to heaven. We all get to the next fucking level of reality or consciousness stuck in this 3D form.
I've actually started to say that to a lot of people lately. Like, anytime anyone's talking to me about stuff that they're dealing with, I'm always telling them to get the hell out of their own way. And I'm always like, and they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you're saying you're having an inner crisis, right? And they start listing up all the things they've said. And I'm like, you are in your own way. You are literally stepping in your own way, tripping yourself, getting mad about it, crying about it. And then when the person tries to help you, you get mad at them too. You are in your own way.
Yeah, you're literally... It's the saying of you're so comfortable in the nice warm pile of shit that somebody put on you that you don't want to move because you know how this crap happens and you know what the outcome's going to be, so you can work within it. So you're unwilling to improve because if you improve, that's a new pile of crap you've never dealt with, and you don't want to take the chance at something you don't know how to deal with. So you want to stay at level 1 instead of moving to level 5 where you should already be.
Yep. Or level 10 or level 15, whichever one.
Well, I mean,
whichever one you're at.
You start at level 1. That's why I'm saying from level 1 to level 5 because that's the tiny steps. After you get to level 5 and you see how you're an idiot, it's like, oh, easy go, get out of my way and just...
Yeah.
Like you've done.
Yeah.
Like I've done.
Yeah. No, it was kind of crazy. I think I annoyed my family members actually with how much I got out of my own way. Because like they see
that
me
was a
where
good
I'm at.
story that you
Yeah.
were just telling that
Yeah.
happened a couple weeks back.
Yeah, like that. I'm sitting there and I'm telling them like where I am and everything. Cause I didn't even like start volunteering it either. I was just chilling. I was ready to like say nothing at all and just hang out with them for a little bit and then all just break away and go do our own thing again like we always do and just move on. And no, they had to fucking ask
Somebody
me.
had to include
They had to.
you or look at how
They had to
awesome
ask.
he's doing and he's or why aren't you all tense and pent up like you used to be? Oh, because I don't do that anymore. That's a stupid way to waste energy.
And then,
What?
like 3 people be like, "Why did you choose this name now?" And I had to explain it to them, and I'm like, but in my head I was like, do I give them the real, like the full-on summary, which might melt their mind, or do I give them the condensed? I'll give them the condensed preview and then just slowly feed them more as they ask more questions about it.
Right, like I do.
Yep.
Like if you ask me questions or I see that you're unclear, I dive deeper in.
Yes.
And
And-
about orange.
And like it's funny because like
Oh, okay.
Josh and Tammy, my dad, and quite a few others who I know the most out of the group.
Because they're the ones that actually talk to you the most.
yeah. They were super uncomfortable with like the whole thing. They were liking the changes that I had made with myself, but which I didn't make for them. I made it for me.
Exactly.
Which I had to point that out too because there was a couple times where Dad was just like, "Oh, that's so great! You're doing the changes like I was talking to you about." And I'm like, I appreciate the fact that you and select people who have given me advice. I appreciate the advice you guys gave me, but I definitely did not do it for that reason. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I did it for me because by doing it for me, I'm going to stick with it, and then it'll eventually bleed over to all of you, but start with my kids and the wife because that's who I'm around the most. I'm like, you do it for you.
Improve yourself.
You do it for you, and then it'll eventually bleed over.
Yep.
Because if it's externalized, you're gonna stop and you're getting away.
That's like I think it was I'm trying to remember her name. Anne
Washburn.
Yes. One of her things and her CD, the CD that she came out with about dumping your cup.
Yeah.
Everybody's always like brushing off her. This thing when somebody says something to them.
Yep.
When it's a compliment.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you emptying your cup? Let your cup overfill. Let it fill up and overflow. It's like, because when you're talking about the overflow, that's the thought that comes in my head because she was the one who said it. I'm just like, yeah, okay, I see that as reality. That is.
Yeah.
You become so positive, it pisses off the negative people around you.
Oh yeah, no,
But
I am penchant for pissing off negative people.
Right? I love pissing off people who are like, you're an ass. Oh, thank you. Wait, that doesn't offend you? That doesn't piss you off? Why would you calling me an ass while you're being a complete douchebag piss me off?
Right.
I'm not a douchebag, so I don't smell stinky and disgusting. I'm a dick. I might not look pretty, but everybody likes to play with me.
Not to mention the fact that when you turn everything off, or when you say goodbye to the person who's pissed off at you, then suddenly out of nowhere they're not even there anymore in the first place, and you are back to doing what you were doing before, which is working on yourself and making yourself better.
Well, it's like I've said it on here 1,000 times, and I like because you've literally thrown it out to other people. It's like, oh, okay, you want to be my hater? I hope you like being my biggest fan. Have a wonderful life. Move on. Wait, did he just tell me thank you for being his biggest fan? Yeah, because he lives rent free in your head and all you do is bitch about him. You are literally his biggest fan.
I made a joke actually at the family gathering.
About that?
And, yeah.
Nice.
And,
Alright, tell it.
And I made a joke about it because of the fact that it came up, and the person with the name that starts with L, she came up, and I
But of course,
I cognitively, and I've explained this to Dad a couple of times, I cognitively avoid any contact with her at all because I want her to come to me. I want her to, if she
I'm
wants.
not going to be your
Yeah.
fan. If you're going to
If
be a
there's-
douchebag, I'm literally going to let you be your own stupidity.
Yeah, I literally was like sitting there standing at the top of the staircase, and Josh was like, "So you're not gonna talk smack about Lacey at all?" And I'm like, "No, why?" He's all like, "Interesting," and I'm like, why is that interesting? He's like, "Well, years ago," I'm like, that's me.
Not who I
years ago."
am. That's who I was.
I'm like, Josh, catch up. You were from like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, still at that point, and you're still trying to address me like I am still that guy from 3 or 4 years ago. Stuff's been happening, shit's changed, things have evolved, things have grown as they
Including me.
including me, and I just kind of looked at I looked at him and I'm like, honestly, it's actually a cosmic tragedy that things are where they are right now. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, Lacey's one of the inciting incidents and why I ended up seeking out psychological stuff and why I ended up learning a bunch of shit and why I ended up tackling me. Instead of tackling everybody else like I was doing before and judging everybody else involuntarily or whatever I was doing back then.
You were accidentally acting like, no offense, Dad.
Yes. Me and Mary talked about that last night.
Nice!
About how, like, at the apartment, I would give her that vibe a lot. About how I would, involuntarily sound like him. And now I sound the opposite of him.
Well, I mean, you told me the other day when we were talking about the stupidities, I literally put up just enough of him to go, fucking dumbass.
Right.
Just to get the 5 seconds or 2 minutes of, are they just that fucking stupid? It's not being him to the extreme he goes to, but it's the 2 minutes of fucking stupid, quit being stupid.
Yeah. So I'm like explaining this to them because like I'm giving them the summarized version and they're still asking me questions and I'm like, okay, I'll fine, I'll feed you more and more and more. Arno, my Aunt Tammy's husband, Arno, he is staring at me with awe and amazement. At first it was like skepticism and like, is he really like doing this? Like,
he's
is
actually
this really
this
happening?
person.
Yeah, like is this actually happening? Like, do I really believe it? And then like as I just kept talking about it and kept going on and going a little deeper into it because I'm like, okay, they're not gonna leave me alone until I explain everything because I just wanted to chill and just be me. And
I want to relax. Quit asking questions.
Yeah, and they're just like still asking, and I'm like, and it's like I gravitated it too. By pulling away, I gravitated them to me.
That is the funny part. Like me, some of the time I don't bring up certain subjects. You've seen it. They just pop up
Exactly.
out of nowhere. Like when we were talking at the gym to the 2 new guys that we were being friendly with.
Yeah.
Something popped up and I just dove in because, oh, here's what I know or here's my viewpoint. And it like became a 30-minute conversation while we were getting dressed.
Yeah.
Out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, it's funny
when you try not to talk about it or try not to enlighten people, you become the magnet because they know you have the knowledge, because it's not a conscious thing. Subconsciously, through their eyes, and because of the spirit and energy you hold, clearly you're not telling me something. There's more. I need all that info.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the crazy part is that Josh was asking me, he's like, so you're not gonna talk smack on Lacey, you're not gonna go to the negative, and I'm like, I told him, like, I involuntarily recognitively frame the negative, but even if you throw it at me, after I momentarily get caught up in that current, I then suddenly rewrite myself as I do in the pool when I'm swimming, and I flip it around, and then everyone around me who's looking like they're enjoying the shit out of it because they're like, yeah, he's talking shit. Suddenly out of nowhere, I flip it around, and they're like, fuck. Because they realize they're like,
turn it straight into a positive.
I turn into a positive, and then they
this is
plot
the negative
twist.
part, but here's
the
benefit.
Yes, and then
it's
they're
like, wait, you just turned a negative to positive. How'd you do that?
And they're just all like, oh my god, I can't believe I don't know if I can handle it. The whole time, Dad was sitting there, standing there, and like it was weird because it was like a mix of pride and the fact that he likes the fact of who I'm becoming,
and shame,
and then shame because of who he's been. It was like a mix.
It's the realization that your kid becomes the badass you were always trying to tell him to be while being the biggest dick in the world, and then realizing, oh god, I'm still 5 levels behind, even though I'm the parent. How the hell did this happen?
Yeah, and then I told him, I literally deadass told him, I was like, Dad, you know you can do this, right? And he's like, wait, what do you mean? I'm like, what I'm doing. Like, work on yourself. Like, let go of the things that are blocking you. Get out of your own way. Let go of the things that are blocking you. Let go of your blockages. Affirmation. I'm like, I won't go too deep into it because I don't want to, like, overwhelm the hell out of you. There is a step-by-step process.
Yeah, right.
But you can easily take the things that you're being blocked by. When I'm not in your head. All I can do is go by intuition and go by the Force, as I call it, and guide you a little bit. But it's up to you. It comes down to what you want to do and who you want to be in order for that to even work. Because I can feed you as much information as possible, and if you're too busy pelting it off or saying no to it, nothing's going to happen anyway.
You think I'm full of shit, even though you see me being the most positive person here.
Yeah. Nothing's going to happen anyway because you aren't going to move. And I'm like, that's...
I'll just keep throwing the facts at you. Eventually, you will absorb it whether you want to or not.
Yeah, I told him, like, I told everybody, I was like, going, yeah, if, like, everybody here rejected who I was and rejected everything I was doing, and Josh was like, would you get mad? I'm like, no. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, no, I wouldn't even bother with getting mad. I would just be like, no, you're lost, not my problem. Like, 'cause I don't have to hold that. Like, I don't have to hold any of that. Like,
I do not need to put a collar around your neck and lead you around like a dog. I'm going to tell you the truth or show you the truth from my point of view, and either you come along for the ride, or you stay on or you stay in the ship pile you're in that you like because it's nice and toasty warm. Not move on to the next pile, which is stinkier, but is also better because it will improve you.
Told him, like, you can either move and learn to unlearn bad habits and bad things, or you can keep doing exactly what you're doing now, change nothing, and keep making the same mistakes, and then eventually when you see other people end up evolve ahead of you, you can get sour about it and angry about it, or you can just simply let go of all that, move along, and then suddenly out of nowhere, you'll be right in pace with me and be like, oh, hey, what's up? And I'll be like, hey, about time you showed up.
Right?
Been kind of lagging around behind there. I was watching you stumble and fall, but if I even help you up at all, like, you're just going to fall again. And they're like, well, I'm going to drag you down. I'm like, no, you're not going to drag me down. I already have my own strong
foundation.
I've
gotten past that.
I can help you.
It's not even me having to go back down to your level to bring you up. No, I literally just, okay, here's a string.
Yep.
Have fun climbing.
It's like,
I got to get to my next level.
oh, there's an assist. Here you go. Catch it or don't.
Right. It's like the guy who can climb the mountains without the gear.
Yeah.
You give the locks to make it to the next point. You put the lock in, hook the chain for the next person to come up right behind them.
Yeah.
There's always somebody in front of you. Now you can either take what they're saying, or I don't like what you're saying, or I don't like your viewpoint, so I'm not going to listen to you. You don't have to listen to them.
Yeah.
But getting there on your own might actually be 10 times harder and more of a struggle if you don't just take what somebody told you and look at it. Can I do that for myself in my own way, or do I have to do it exactly how they do it? That's like me always discussing with you all this stuff. It's you take what I say, but you're like, okay, but I can't do that because I'm not just like you. I have to do it this way for me.
Right.
And because you can process it like that, you have come so far in such a short amount of time. I love that everybody's like, how?
Yeah.
And you're like, this fucking asshole.
No, I literally brought you up a couple times. Like, I remember I told you before I was like,
oh yeah, I remember
like,
you
I
made a comment about me.
I phrased it as singing praises about you and stuff. Or I phrased it as some other way of variation of that.
My little sister, your wife's just like, really? You're gonna talk about my brother again? Well, he's the one who told me.
Yeah, I know. She, the whole time she's sitting on the couch, and I'm going into it surface layer by surface layer because I'm trying to decide where I should stop and where I should pull back because I don't want to go too deep into it and go over share mode, which I do. And
yeah, we both do.
Yeah, and so I'm like giving them layer by layer, and they're still asking me stuff, and I'm like, okay, I'll find.
They want more.
Yeah, they're fucking hungry as shit. And so I'm sitting there staying in the living room.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm staying in the upstairs living room, and Tammy, and what's funny is I'm sitting there telling them this without even appealing to them. I'm telling it to them as if it's just a fact of life.
Because it is.
Cause I'm just like going, I'm all like, because before when I would talk to them before, it was the people pleaser. It was the, oh, I need to sell this to you. Now I'm just like, the sun's up, duh. The sun's up, duh. And so I'm like upstairs in the living room, and I'm like talking to them, and I'm like, and they're like going, I'm like talking about how I've been working out with you at the gym, and how I was struggling with a lot of shit. You gave me some advice. You were telling me some stuff. Some of it was absolutely game changing. I took the stuff that needed to be used for me specifically that I could use it for me, and then would eventually because I told him like self-serve versus serving self.
Yes.
Like you need to serve self so that way you are not self-serving. Because if you're serve self, that means you are working on yourself, building a foundation for yourself, which voluntarily helps everybody else around you. Rather than serving self, which is pity, self-righteousness, selfishness, greed, envy, depression, a bunch of negativity stuff. And I was like, the way I was explaining to it, Arno was just like, where did this guy show up?
And when did you become a guru?
Yeah.
Because I've been listening to this guru.
Yeah, and then I talked about like you, and then I talked about a couple other people and brought them up, and was like, I learned some stuff from these
Russell
people.
Brand,
yeah, different nuggets from everybody.
Jordan Peterson,
and decided to kind of like fuse that all together. And the whole time my dad is just standing there like someone just punched him in the balls, but not like in a negative way. It was like someone like took a marshmallow.
It's the reality smack from the 2-ton hammer. It's like, has that been sitting in front of my face this whole time? God, I'm an idiot.
Right, like
the realization.
Yes. Yeah, and then like
drowned in it sometimes.
And then like they were just kind of like they were just wowed, and then the whole time the wife, who is of course incapacitated by pain but is on the couch, they all look at her because they always do whenever they're looking for an affirmation or is he an idiot, and instead they looked at her and she's just like, of course you got to talk about him. And I'm like, yeah, why not? And he's all like, and she's all like, I'm like, yeah, I'd be saying this whether or not Karnage was here or not. And then she's just like, I know, and then Arnold's just like, so I could tell that her older brother's been helpful for you. And I'm like, yeah, a lot. I'm like, honestly, he was there when this fucker, and I pointed at Dad, I'm like, this fucker let his wife and his spouse control everything. He was there when this fucker got his leg broken. He was there when a lot of shit went down. Well, everyone else kind of went all their own separate ways and went doing their own little bubbles and their own worlds and doing whatever, whatever you guys do in your lives and stuff. That's cool. It's up to you guys. It's what you guys do. Meanwhile, I am struggling with juggling so much stuff. So what do I voluntarily end up doing? I step back and I go, I need to be self-aware, I need to work on me, and I need to avoid anything that happened between 2019 and 2020. And then to a looser extent, 2021 to 2022. So I need to avoid any mistakes I end up voluntarily making and try to my best to do new ones, but not hold myself a slave to it. I need to be able to do it for me, but not in the sense that I'm ball and chain to it.
That kind of goes into like me talking about the being the Jesus complex or the Christ complex. I will forgive everybody no matter how bad the thing is you do because I love you because you're family.
Yes.
Not because we're blood related, even though technically everybody is.
Yeah.
You go far enough back, we're all freaking connected somewhere in the bloodlines.
Yeah.
It's the thing of your chosen family and your unchosen family. So, I mean, this is my lunacy from the beginning. It's, I love you no matter what you do. I don't have to like what you do, but I will always love you.
I also pointed out something funny that made Arno's eyebrow shoot deep into his forehead. I told him I said that, you know how the quote is about the lamb and like the whole chosen blood versus inherited blood? And he's like, yeah, he's like, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the exact words. And I didn't remember them either. I just simply said the concept and he knew it already. So I was just like, okay, well, in general, for the last 4 or 5 years, while y'all are all just doing your own things and avoiding me or avoiding this or avoiding that, I've been working on me. Instead of playing avoidance, I end up doing me. And instead of avoidance, I end up tackling the things that everyone else is afraid of tackling. And involuntarily, I end up hanging around chosen family more than inherited. More than you guys, essentially. I see you guys 3 to 4 times a year. I see everybody else that I associate.
The family you pick, not the family you're given.
Yeah, I end up seeing everybody else every day or every other week or whatever. And I hear from you guys maybe 3 to 4 times a year. And that's about it. And I'm like, so you guys will probably assume or presume or make up stories or theorize, or instead of actually asking me and actually listening in the first place, who I am and what I'm going to do, I'm doing this for me. And I'm like, so just to, put that to bed. And I'm like, did somebody say something?
It's TikTok saying we've been on
job.
for 90 minutes. That's all I was checking.
Oh, okay, cool.
It did that last week. I was just checking to see what it was. You're good. Keep telling your story.
And it was super interesting because, like, the whole time, they're just blown. Like, their heads just... It was like if you had turned into an animation and they couldn't die, but the other heads would explode anyway.
No. It's in the animation. It's the teardrop, and then they faint for absolutely no reason, just because you told them something so extreme, and then coming to grips of what it is, and they're like, well, fuck, shit, you're right.
Yeah, and I told them, what's funny is
excuse my language if that offends you, but no offense, that's who I am.
I've had them tell me over and over again, they're like, well, we're worried about you. And Dad was like, well, you know what, we've been kind of worried about you and stuff, and I'm like, really? Why? You have been? And they're like, he's like, why does that surprise you? I'm like, never check on me. Never ask.
You don't call or text. Yeah.
How do I know you're worried about me? And honestly, like, because you haven't been involved in my journey, I'm giving you a preview. It's nice to know. I appreciate you guys for listening. I appreciate you guys for, paying more than 5 seconds of attention.
Right.
But at the same time, like, you guys ain't there. You guys ain't part of the journey. Like, you're loosely, extensively part of the journey. You're kind of like that character in a TV show that appears for 5 seconds in a cameo and says, I'm the core of the show. I'm the star. And everyone's like, well, are you sure about that?
Hang on. It's the ever famous, they're in every episode, but they're not the main character. They're just there. Always in the background, or always shows up around this time, every time in the show, but yet they're not in the show's not about them, if that makes sense.
It's my wolf.
Show those lunatics too.
My Uncle Kevin made this for me. He's got a 3D print machine, so he made me a wolf. Like, he got me a wolf. And it was...
You know you can make those at, like, the library now, right? Because they have a 3D printer you can pay for. It just costs by...
I mean, he brought that up, too. Okay. He just liked the fact that he could do it. Like, that's the thing, is he wasn't acting like it was this big novel concept or like he was a revolutionary person or whatever.
Well, no,
he was just like,
random thought popped into my head.
So he's like, I got the 3D printer one day on discount sale because of one of my bonuses with the job I have.
Nice.
And he's like, so I found the 3D printer, we finally got it up running, and I was like, let me go ahead and play around with this thing and see what I can do with it. And so I figured I'd use the survey we created to put in the family chat to figure out what you guys all like, so we could kind of try and make a good guess as to what you guys want. And we decided to just make you guys stuff. Yeah. And see what you guys like. And he got to have his Santa Claus moment. He got to show up with a bunch of 3D print type things like this, like dragons and other stuff. This is the wolf.
Dragon.
Yep.
Dragon or scorpion.
I probably could message Kevin and be like, hey, Karnage would like a scorpion. If you could do it. And see, see what he comes up with.
That'd be nice as hell. I'd literally put it in my car. That would be like my little centerpiece for my...
This is the attempt at a dragon. So this is kind of like the... This is the misprint that he had, but it looks so fucking cool that I was like, I have to have it. Right. So I kind of snagged it.
It's like your bearded dragon.
Yes.
It's not like a mythical dragon.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool. That actually looks nice. It's not half bad. We would just have to improve the size of hair.
Yeah, no, he was all like...
But, I mean, that still doesn't look any better.
Because Amber mentioned the fact that she was going to paint his eyes green, and so Kevin's like, well, maybe you could print maybe the sides and some of the other stuff. He's like, you could just change it up a bit if you want. He's like, I'm not going to be offended. I made the thing already, so here you go.
Yeah, if you want to colorize it and
make it up or change it up a bit.
Or a real thing, then make it real.
Even was like, if you want to take pictures of what you guys do with it, send them to the chat and we can look at it and it'd be a nice thing.
Why not?
Yeah, no, he was. It was so weird and interesting. Kevin's always been the most subdued, just like quiet guy in the background that like will show up, say hi to everybody, and then leave. That like I always thought that he was
say hi and sit down until the meal's ready.
I always thought that maybe he was just this guy who hated everybody, or he only involuntarily showed up because he had to, or whatever. No, he's just a guy who's just quiet as hell. And he was the one who He's the one who gave me that thing. Was wrapped up in a box with my preferred name on it.
Nice.
I was like, oh my god! I took a picture of it because I was like, going, nobody understands the level of dopamine this gives.
Right? Well, I mean, that's like you always saying, and because Gosiel knows, it's if you're calling me by my given name or by my preferred call sign, Karnage, it's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I like both names. Because my given name is a biblical name, so, I mean, I love that alone.
Yeah.
But my chosen name, Karnage, describes me in such a profound way that to deny that's who I am is to deny I exist.
Yeah.
Okay, have fun. I am the Karnage.
Yeah.
I personify I personify more what is considered the most recognized Karnage in the world, which is from Spider-Man. I'm sorry, I make him look like a bitch. Give me those powers, dude. I would have him on his knees saying, "Please don't kill me, Daddy."
Yeah, that guy. See, and that's the thing is every single piece of media I've ever seen that character in, he's just this shrieking cartoon animation to me.
He's a. I must bolster myself to look like the biggest badass. Where I'm like,
Right.
I don't need to bolster myself. I'm just gonna be the badass.
Yeah. And then whereas you worked your ass off. You've been putting your. That's the thing is that's part of why the hero's tale. Whenever I talk about storytelling and stuff,
Yeah.
is so important because you're the one of the embodiments of the hero's tale. Because of the fact
Bring
that
it,
you
try to kill me. I
Right.
will get back up and keep fighting.
because you've had the bottom of the barrel where you doubt yourself, where you have your moments and stuff. You have your pride and stuff, but then you rise back up. You get back up and you keep
Always.
moving.
Always.
And like, there's been times where we haven't gone to the gym because you felt like shit or because something else was going on with you. But then the next week we were right back at the gym and we were kicking ass and taking names and you're like, nothing's gonna stop me. And so it's like I've been there watching this happen and I'm like, he talks
It's a constant.
a lot of big game, but he gets
It's
back up and
constant.
keeps going.
It's constant. No matter how bad I am struck down or broken, I will always come back.
Yeah.
There is no stopping me. Thank you. And I feel it, the aura doing the little.
Yeah.
Because it's not even pride. It's more just the confidence that I know I am unstoppable.
Yeah.
I will always come back. You could try to kill me. I'll be back.
Yeah.
And you're gonna shit your pants when I come back. Bring it.
Oh, the whole couple weeks where you and the spouse were fighting nonstop and everything, and you kept talking about how unstoppable you were that one week. Literally, Disturbed dropped the song "Unstoppable" from Divisive, and I listened to the whole thing, and I'm like, why does this sound like Karnage? This sounds exactly like Karnage. In fact, I believe I heard him say this last week.
See, there's a thing. I don't even think about it. The energy I put out, and then I find songs like "Last One Standing."
Yeah.
It's a Vegeta song. I can't pull it up on my phone right now. You might be able to on YouTube Music, but
I don't know if I get a copyright strike.
well, no, I mean to bring up the guy who wrote its name.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Daddy Fat Snaps, or it's one of the anime dudes.
It's still a
I
funny
can't
name.
remember his name. If you have YouTube, it'll pull it up on YouTube. Last One Standing.
Last one standing. And then you said Daddy Fat Snaps.
Oh, I'm not sure. Just do Last One Standing, Vegeta.
Oh, Vegeta.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to bring up the show itinerary.
Yeah.
Fable.
Fable.
V-A-B-V-L.
Yeah, it's F-A-B-V-L, but it's Fable.
Okay.
Is how we pronounce it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if you can see that at all, like,
You're gonna have to turn your brightness down.
son of a
Hair.
bitch.
Well, I mean that's usually the thing,
Yes.
especially with it being on camera, so that way they can see it better.
See? Fable. Then
That's how you pronounce it, but
Fable.
he's literally said it's Fable. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's I don't care. I'm just telling you how the artist actually says it.
Yeah.
But it's like songs like that. I I don't even think about it, but yet when I do like a look or just looking for a new song that is me, my persona, and who I actually see myself as
Yeah.
in song form, I look for songs like that. Like, yeah, no matter what happens, literally, I lost my family,
Yeah.
I gained it back.
Yeah.
The song literally talks about I lost everything, but I've gained it back. I've literally been through one divorce, and I came back and got another wife. I'm going through it again. Guess what? I'm gonna be the last one standing when it all hits the shit fan, because I am that badass. I am that awesome. This has nothing to do with pride, even though that's like Vegeta's like big thing. Saying pride, have pride in yourself. I'm like, no, not pride. Confidence that I am this badass.
Mm-hmm.
I will never stop. Nothing to do with pride. Even though that's what it looks like, it's confidence. The confidence that I am that strong.
Yeah.
I am unstoppable.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with arrogance. Like I know a lot of people have always told me growing up, and that's arrogance. It's pride. That's a sin. It's like you see it as a sin because you think of it as pride and arrogance. I see it as confidence because I know that's who I am. It's nothing to do with pride. Nothing to do with arrogance. That is who I am.
Yeah.
And it always makes my skin crawl when I do that. But I mean, it's knowing I am that level of exalted to know it's not pride. It's just confidence in that's me.
Yeah.
It's who I'm always gonna be. No matter how far down I get knocked, I will climb back up twice as far as you think you knocked me down.
Similar to what Cornelia had said a year ago. She said, it's not arrogance, it's confidence.
Yes.
Everyone will confuse it with arrogance
or pride.
Because they have wounded souls, and they have what's considered a wound that's from their childhood or from somewhere in their life that
goes into
causes them to be dragged down.
The soundbite I had.
Therefore, they get angry
I think I sent it to you.
At what sounds like confidence.
I wish. Well, what do you feel? I feel pain because I think you always hate me. No, I love you. I've been loving you since the moment you came to existence and came into my life.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't feel like that. That's you feeling a scar, not what it actually is. And because it pokes the scar, me showing you I love you, you think it's hatred and disappointment. When actually it's love unconditional.
Also, one thing I want you guys to do is a challenge for you, the audience. Every
on
person,
YouTube and TikTok.
every person you run into, whether it's an associate, whether it's a coworker, whether it's a family member, whether it's your actual brothers and sisters, or whether it's
a random stranger.
Yeah, a random stranger. Doesn't matter what it is. And if you're entering in a conversation with them and you're end up talking to each other about about awesome stuff, or even if you're just checking up on each other and stuff because you guys run into each other a lot, say "love you, brother," or say "appreciate you" or "love you," like the abbreviated version of "love you"
or sister.
Yeah, or sister or whatever.
Or it's just
and
whenever you're leaving the conversation with people, all right, love you, see you later.
Right, exactly, and they. At first, some of them will look like they're creeped out because that's their normal reaction. Ignore it.
Because
don't even worry about
what they've been taught to do.
Yep.
That is not their true reaction because they do not know how to accept or handle receiving that much love.
There's a 30% chance you'll hear "I love you too," because it's a reflex.
Or it's the "huh what?"
Yeah, or "huh what?" surprise or shock. Or,
I always love that one.
Or they'll not even say anything at all and just look at you like you're strange, which is fine. Either way, no matter what the reaction is,
be strange than normal.
Yeah, no matter what the reaction is, say it and then continue on with your day and just be like, all right, bye. I said it, and people will find it so strange and weird. But then when you end, and I don't mean just do it one time, either. Every time you interact with them, say it. Every time. And then, when you get up in the morning or when you go to bed at night, talk good to yourself. Don't talk negative. Because everyone in this world talks negative. They go, "Oh, I'm an idiot," or when they say things that other people socially find it strange.
The podcast I was listening to.
Yeah.
When you got into the car, they literally just went over that.
Oh yeah.
At like the hour mark.
Yeah.
50-something minutes.
Affirmations.
No, it wasn't even affirmations. That wasn't the. I mean, they said that, but that wasn't the original thing that they were talking about. It's kind of the thing that everybody bitches at Andrew Tate about. He doesn't believe in depression.
Mm-hmm.
It's the thing of the other guy was saying, and Andrew agreed with him. It's the thing of, yeah, well, I'm depressed. I'm hurt. I'm this. You know, the negative. It's like, no, you can't do that. No, I'm a badass. I'm awesome. It's been a good day. I'm not dead. Be happy. That's like I did it to Dad earlier today. He literally tried to be a sourpuss, and I rolled down the window after he got out of the car. I'm like, be happy. You're still alive. And be happy you're alive, because that means you get to keep moving.
Yeah.
Or something to that extent. And he went, damn you. Because I literally told him to be positive, and the little demon said, fuck!
Yeah, he was mad.
And it literally came out of his mouth. I literally saw the manifestation of the demon. God damn it!
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. That's ironic.
Oh, it spiked me up. I laughed when I drove off. I'm just like, I just made a positive mark in your day, dumbass. Not even dumbass in the bad way. It's like, idiot.
Like the
but a positive idiot. It's like
the East Coast you.
Yes, it's the I'm calling you a dumbass, not because you're a dumbass, because you literally proved I put a positive mark on your negative bullshit fucking meter or checklist.
Yeah. But my point still stands. When you go to bed, when you wake up, instead of, because like people will automatically retract who they are. They will automatically do this.
Well, we were talking about this a couple weeks ago. Don't say but, say and. And is a positive, but is a negative.
Right. What I'm saying though is that they will retract like this. And what I mean by that is that when they are talking to anybody and they have ideas or they have notions or they have like messages that they receive,
negativity that pops into your head.
Yes, or random negativity, they will involuntarily, almost involuntarily, apologize for their weirdness, apologize for who they are to who they presume to be their friends, and say, I'm sorry, I'm just an idiot, I guess. Or they'll say some sort of variation of a phrase.
I'm sorry if that hurt your feelings.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
that is personally degrading to themselves. As if, like, their entire existence is a wound on the person they're around, but yet they claim that they love each other, they claim that they're family, they claim that they're friends, and yet they're involuntarily apologizing for their existence.
They're happy to be around you, but I'm sorry I'm a piece of shit around you. It's like, no.
Right.
I'm happy to be around you. It's been nice being around you. Hope you have a wonderful day. I got shit to do. Bye.
Exactly. And then and you've got like the self-loathing concept too. So stop that. Like here's a challenge to the crowd.
Extremely.
Here's a challenge to the crowd. Instead of being self-loathing, practice self-loving. Practice serving self.
One of the things, and I like this that Kirk said it, Kirk Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
I like that he says it because I'm like, well, that's what I always think. It's like, I'm an idiot. No, I'm intelligent. I'm smart. I'm sexy. You know, that sort of stuff. Always tell yourself the positive.
Yeah.
Or, God damn it, I'm fat. No. I am on the way to becoming who I want to be. Right. Don't call yourself fat. I am on the path, or I am on the adventure to become the badass I'm meant to be.
Kind of like that guy at the gym.
Always turn it into a positive.
When we're in the hot tub and he was calling himself fat, and I'm like, no, it's body armor.
You're just a big guy who's going to become a more badass big guy with muscles.
I told him, I'm like, it's your body armor. And he's like, huh? And I'm like, yeah, when you start slimming down a little bit, like, it's not going to go away. You're going to have fat rolls and stuff from residue from having all that extra skin. So you're going to have extra skin, so it'll be like rivets in your body armor. And he just died. He was just
he was laughing.
Hard.
And I made the comment about the guy who's always considered the fat guy, like with Spider-Man, it was Kingpin.
Yeah.
He looks fat as shit, but he's all muscle. Mm-hmm. Or the guy in it's Justice League Unlimited and Batman is the guy who looks like really fat, but when anybody hits him, because that was part of the Justice League Unlimited, what's the character's name? I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's a regular human who's in the Justice League because he wants to be a superhero. Punches the guy and literally basically breaks his hand because the guy's literally just a solid brick wall or steel entity because it's all muscle. It's not fat, but he looks fat because he's just gigantic. Justice League Unlimited, not the original Justice League. It's when they started adding in all the other members and they had to turn it into another cartoon.
My brain is thinking 3 or 4 people that are probably not it.
Because it was the whoever Black Canary starts dating,
Yeah.
the basic human. I think it's Black Canary, or it's one of the other chicks. It's like a super badass fighter.
Yeah.
Who learned from one of the old guys that's not, but still, he's not dead yet, but he's still part of the Justice League.
Yeah.
Or became a member of the Justice League. And he's one of the guys that's training the younger people coming in that are like regular, humans.
Yeah.
Not people with the genetic abnormalities or, aliens that have the extra powers or like the Green Lantern. He's teaching them how to fight.
Yeah.
But he was the guy who taught her.
Okay.
And I can't remember the guy's name, but I think it's Black Canary. Because she's also the one in Justice, who is it? The Teen Titans one. Young Justice. That starts to teach them how to properly battle.
Yeah.
And Superman's clone, the half Superman, half Lex Luthor clone, says, well, I'm superpowered. I don't need it. And then she literally throws his ass on the ground.
His name's Steel?
No. Who Black Canary dates. Justice League Unlimited. He's like a detective. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. If somebody knows, throw it in the comments on TikTok because we can't see the comments on YouTube. Sorry, the dang comment thing on OBS keeps messing up and kicking it to put away.
Detective Larry Lance?
Yeah.
Okay.
He helps her with doing something, but what they don't realize is the big fat guy in that episode isn't the bad guy because he's literally trying to save his son.
Yeah.
That's the only reason he's making the deal with the other black guy to save his kid.
Yeah.
And she thinks, and he's helping her, because they're both detectives, they think they're stopping him from doing something bad, but he's not actually doing something bad. He's doing something that is considered bad to save his child.
Yeah.
But when he hits the guy, he literally crushes his hand. Because of how much muscle. That's what I was telling to the guy. And the guy instantly knew who I was talking about because of the two entities I described.
Yeah.
Kingpin's automatic. Everybody knows it by name. The other guy, because I never remember his name, but if you watched it, you know who the guy is instantly.
Yeah.
So that's what I was telling him he could become. He'll still be a big dude, but he'll be a big, giant, like, steel brick wall.
Yeah.
Steel and or brick wall. You hit it, you crush your hand. So it's not the fat that's his armor. The little bit of fat, like me, it's the inch and a half of fat on top of my six pack. It's whenever my kid does this, it's like yeah. I wasn't hit full force. Hit me full force. I don't want to hurt you. You're not gonna hurt me. My hand. Yeah. You're literally hitting a steel wall. That's like freaking 3 inches thick. This is not all fat. This is built.
Yeah.
Like you, it's the built.
Yep.
There's a little bit of cushion, but it's we are built. but I mean.
Oh yeah.
When you mentioned that and I did that, you instantly saw where he went. Oh, I know that reference.
Yeah.
And then when we were talking about DBZ and magic and other stuff, I'm just throwing out factoids and whatnot on how certain things would fit together and mix this with this character and these and this trait, and they're like, he's doing such a deep dive, my brain isn't even there yet. Hang on a sec, I gotta process.
I had a you moment with my Aunt Tammy, by the way, that night.
Oh, really?
Because she was all like, you look like you're a lot more fit now. Like, you look like you've been keeping shape. And I'm like, well, yeah, I talk to you about the gym all the time. And she's like, no, but you're looking better than you were before, and you even look more built. And I'm like, why, thank you.
Right?
It was a pulling of you. I found myself saying some shit that you usually say, and Amber was just like, oh my god, that's adorable and wholesome. It's like, and I'm like, adorable and wholesome? And she's like, yeah, you're like turned into like a TPAW Karnage hybrid there for a second.
Nice.
It was so funny. I had to bring it up.
Hey, no, I mean, I like that. I went into a tangent about what you were talking about, which brought us back to you hanging out with your family.
Yeah, because
we've gone full circle.
Talking about muscles and shit, my brain went, wait, that was that one time that thing happened.
Funny how the brain does that, right?
Yep. Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I need to revisit Young Justice because we have it HBO Max still. I can easily watch it at any time.
Well, it's not in Young Justice. I'm just saying it's the female character that's teaching them to fight, so that way they can actually defend themselves against certain supervillains or people who might actually have some training in street and or martial arts.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then look up the episode where her and the detective guy she was dating that's also a part of Justice League.
Okay.
Team up.
Yeah.
Because it also involves some other stuff. Because he's thinking that like the Justice League is turning into the bad guys from the one Justice League, the original series, with the alternate universe.
Yeah.
Sort of thing where Superman's actually the bad guy because he's tired of watching everybody be stupid. And they literally take over the whole world to keep them in line.
Yeah.
You will do and follow the rules. It's kind of like Lucifer thing. We're gonna make you follow the rules because we're tired of seeing you all try to kill each other and send each other to hell.
Yeah.
It's that mentality sort of thing.
We're gonna basically force you to do the right thing rather than letting you choose to do the right thing.
Yeah, but because of a certain thing that was happening, he was double checking, being a detective, but he being a human, not 100% trusting the metahumans, was checking on certain things or doing basically what Batman asked him to do because Batman had to do something else, so he was the one keeping everybody in check.
Yeah.
While Batman was off doing something else, sort of thing. After Batman had left the Justice League.
Yeah.
It was part of the Justice League Unlimited cartoon series. Just go through it. I think it's like in the second season of Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah.
But I don't know off the top of my head. I literally have to do a deep dive, but I don't have any of that stuff, so I'm not signed in or whatnot, or I do a deep dive and literally throw the episode at you.
Yeah, no,
No, not that one. No. I literally go through the first 15 minutes of each show to get to it.
If I believe I still have the same account information I had before with Max, I could just hand you the wrong information. You could just go in there and watch it. But
I
like
could do a deep dive,
Yeah.
It wouldn't look me.
Yeah, so that way we have something else to talk about aside from Matt Rife.
Which you still haven't watched, so
Yeah.
we'll attempt again next week.
Yeah, no, I mean, if that ends up happening again, I will grill the hell out of your sister and be like, okay, we are watching this right the hell now. And she'll be like, well, why? It has been 3 weeks, and we have not touched that at all.
I want to be able to talk to Karnage about it on the podcast.
Yeah, like, he has asked me very nicely quite a few times to watch that damn thing, and you have not touched it once. Whereas you have all the time in the world to watch whatever the hell you want on YouTube, TikTok, whatever, add this thing, that thing, while I have a day job where I can't just watch anything I want. I mean, I can watch it, but it'll be in the background and I won't absorb anything. And which is part why I don't watch much when I'm on my job.
Well, if you listen to it twice while you're dealing with customers, it'll subconsciously leak into your head. So when I bring up a random thing, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. And then we can bounce off each other.
That's fair too.
It's the way the brain works in such a mysterious way that, well, this is the part that lights up when we do this experiment or this experiment or this experiment. But do you have stuff attached to people while they're living their regular lives? And actually somebody following around with cameras all the time? Well, no. Then you actually don't know shit about the brain. This is in a controlled environment, which means it's not 100% factual. It's opinionated because you're trying to find something, so you're doing things that you think will cause this reaction in the brain. But not everybody reacts like that.
Yeah.
You're assuming shit, which makes the conclusion you came to an assumption as well, which means it's basically 50% bullshit.
Yeah. It's basically BS.
Welcome to reality, dipshit. You're an idiot. And saying that to scientists who literally do all the research and be like, you mean everything I've ever learned is complete bullshit because none of it's 100% factual because it's not in 100% reality 100% of the time? Yup.
Yeah.
You literally put it in this small box and said, let's see what happens. Hey, look, it's exactly what I thought. Yeah, because it's in your small box. It's not in the giant freaking sphere of reality, and the scope of everybody seeing the giant sphere is actually only still.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, and it's even more crazy is the fact that a lot of people's boxes are even smaller than that.
Oh yeah. The tip of a pen.
Yeah.
Or a needle. It's so minute because it's literally my life this.
Mm-hmm.
Or some of the stuff I've heard today, or some of the factoids I went and checked out, and not exactly what they thought because it's changed since stupid controlled pandemic.
Yeah.
But I mean, whatever. Shit happens. I went, I checked. It was a no, so I said, okay.
Yeah.
Time to move on to the next step. Either I'll get there or I won't.
Yep.
It's done. I'm not gonna be pissed, I'm not gonna be irritated, it's just more of a, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Because I thought I had a workaround or dealable outcome for a possible one-room apartment.
Oh, yeah?
That fell through, so it's like, bullshit.
Oh.
So I'm going to have to do some more research, possibly fill out some paperwork, and...
You could probably get hooked up with something decent, with like a one-bedroom or studio.
Well, no, my whole thing
Possibly
is, my thing is literally finding what systems or what paperwork I have to fill out for the system, so that way I can get into an apartment with the income I have.
Yeah.
Because with the way the market is and with the way with inflation because of this stupid pandemic,
Yep.
I am literally fucked and have to live out of my car or find random open camping places to camp.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not bad, but in the winter, that's shit. I'd rather live in the damn car. At least it's partially insulated.
Yeah, that's the
And
thing.
plus, I have a sleeping bag. I'll just sleep in
Alex
the passenger seat, go all the way back. I have a sleeping bag, and honestly, I don't need pillows, but if I have to, I can grab the pillows from my house, throw it all in my car. You literally empty out everything I want and or need.
Yeah.
And what I don't take, okay, Connor, okay, Nikki, it's yours.
Yeah, it's
Fight to the death over who gets what, or literally split it in 50 and take what you want.
Yeah, that's kind of what Alex was doing when he was in those hotel rooms and shit.
What I was doing, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna look at the motel.
Yeah.
Down the street that's next to the post office.
That's where they went to.
See how much it is a month.
They've gone there a couple times in the last 6 months.
Yeah, but see, that's like for a one night or weekend stay. I'm gonna go over there like within the next 2 days, 2 to 3 days, and find out how much it would be for a monthly cost.
Yeah.
Because if it's within budget, then it's like, okay, I need room for a month. Boop.
Yeah.
Here's the cash. Hey, look, I still have money. I'm not completely screwed.
Yeah.
Because I'll literally do it at the beginning of next month. Just kiss my ass. I spent the Christmas with the kids. Now y'all can all eat shit and die.
Yeah.
I can't afford the house. You should have thought about that before you filed paperwork for a divorce, then, shouldn't you? Because, I mean, I literally showed you the whole conversation. That was literally the bitch at the beginning of this month. And I'm like, oh, really? $450. I'm like, are you sure? Let's itemize this. Give me an itemized list. Da 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 da. Oh, and since you're paying the car payment,
Yep.
it dropped by $200. Oh shit, dumbass. Pay attention.
Yeah.
And then have the snidiness to say, well, now I can spend the extra money I have on whatever I want, and you can't say shit about it. My first thought is, oh, so you didn't need the $252. Okay, so next month you're not getting any money, and I'm literally going to live in the car, find a workaround, and live in a hotel for cheaper than it is to pay for an apartment. Kiss my ass, have a wonderful life.
Yep.
I'm going to be the most badass, float through the system, be kick-ass, become 10 times stronger and more powerful than I am now, then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, become super rich and go, I'm good.
Yeah.
And own like 4 houses in this neighborhood for shits and giggles.
Yep.
I will buy every house that's for sale in a random month once I make my first 2 mil.
Yeah.
Once I get to 2 mil, it's like literally, okay, I have money. Buy, sign, stamp, get the hell out of my house, I just bought it.
Yep.
Hey, Peter, crazy, go sell. There's a house, motherfuckers. Wait, what? I paid for it, shut up, you have a week to move in, or I'm moving in.
Yeah.
Whatever, man. If I just start buying up all the neighborhood, all the houses in all the neighborhood, in the, literally the freaking
area.
boxed in neighborhood that this is, next to the tracks. This neighbor's bitching. Tell them to fuck off. This is a business. Literally buy the address, turn it into an LLC, get the EID number, and that will literally be our recording studio. Kiss my ass. This is my business.
Yep.
Come at me. Let's do this. Let's play the game.
Pretty much.
I will play the game so hard that my taxes at the end of every year will end up, hey, the government's giving you $500,000. Thank you. Throw it in the pot of shit I don't care about. Alright, keep moving.
Yeah.
Whatever. 24 is my year to become the biggest badass in the world. I'm gonna make Andrew Tate look like a fucking goddamn poor punk.
Yeah,
Within
2024.
the next 5 years, it starts next year. I hope y'all are ready for hell I'm bringing. Because it's gonna be a happy hell. And everybody else is gonna shit their pants when I become the badass of all badasses. Hope y'all are ready.
And you guys will probably assume all the things you want about him being an incel or this or that. Doesn't matter. He's still gonna do it.
You can assume all you want, but
He's
here's
still
the
gonna do
funny
it.
part. If I have 10 wives and all of them like sucking my dick, hey, who's the most badass of all badasses? Bring it. I gotta stand up for a second. I gotta adjust some stuff.
You're good.
And see if my knee's complete shit. Not complete, but it's almost there. That sucks. Maybe it's because I had the brace on all night. I mean all day, so
Yeah.
I have to take it off. My knee's finally. There's brace!
Scooby's going, I hate this.
Yeah. I mean, it benefited me halfway through the day, but I mean, as late as it's getting, I might just pull it off on the podcast. Because it's actually, right now, I think it's hindering me because of how long it's been compressing my knee.
We're also about 2 hours in now. 2 hours and 7 minutes.
Woohoo! Y'all want to see me pull down my pants? Alright, let's go. Here we go. Porn!
This time you actually got to have me on the podcast for longer than 30 minutes before my dad called me.
Right? Yeah, y'all can like scream and yell and be nude and whatnot. No, I'm still covered. I just have to do this to get to the knee brace to actually pull it down. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's some relief. I already feel it. Oh.
I have a back scratcher.
Yes, and see, I'm not indecent. I'm wearing white undies. Oh my god! But I mean, I'm a member of the church, so
It's
kiss my
funny,
ass.
flash through your thighs. You did what
I mean, I have the thick thighs.
You did what every Broadway star does great. You flash your thighs.
Alright, I like that. That's cool. Alright, that's one too tight. Do not want to crush my pelvis. Because if you crush your pelvis, it'll stop you from taking a shit, or it'll make your body want to take a shit. See, I didn't completely strip. I only had to take off my brace. Yell and scream. Cancel me. I'm taking care of myself. Self-care is more important than anything else. Isn't that what like we've been talking about for the last half an hour?
Yep.
Inadvertently, and I'll let this.
Yeah, self-serve, self-love versus serving self, which is the selfish version of that. And by you doing that, you're able to take care of Connor and Nikki really well. That's how I process it in my head. It's like,
well,
if I'm gonna take care of myself,
made
then
a
that's not
comment
gonna work
that
for anybody else.
because of the way you talk is, I could probably actually fight for my kids, but I'm like, I don't have
You
the
could.
money.
You could.
Well, I mean, for the court costs, I don't have the money to pay for the court fees, so I honestly can't afford to, which is the hindrance. Or I would fight for it. But the way the system currently is, and I even made a comment to her, well, the way the current system is, I'd get screwed. Not here in Utah, I'm like, That's your viewpoint. That's not the reality I see everywhere else and here happening. So
Yeah.
I'm not taking a chance. I still get my kids. The only thing I have to do is make sure I have a place for them to come hang out with me 2 weekends a month.
Yeah.
And what would be considered technically after hours on holidays, because it's the paperwork says one thing and the soon-to-be idiot ex-wife says, well, I'm not forcing you out. I'm not going to do anything because the court hasn't made the decision, so I'm not doing shit. So you're being a lazy good for nothing to say somebody else has to make decisions for me because you've literally admitted that you are a child and cannot make decisions for yourself even though you're supposed to be an adult.
So she started the
Good to
paperwork,
know.
but she's not going to move forward on it after that?
She's not moving forward unless the court tells her or gives her the yes, everything you said you get. Or fuck you, he gets everything, kiss our ass.
Interesting.
It's the pretending to be who she used to be, you know, like we talked
Yeah.
when I showed you the text. It's literally her pretending to be who
That
she used to
person
be.
that she used to be.
Instead of actually being that person, pretending to be that person so that she doesn't look like the bitch she actually is.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care either way. You want to be an ass, be an ass.
Right.
That's like me. Somebody calls me an asshole. Oh, thank you. And I keep moving. Somebody calls me a lunatic or a douchebag or any of 50 million names. Thanks. Or, oh, I know. And keep moving. Don't let everybody else's hindrances slow you down from being the badass you truly are.
Yeah.
And yes, that is my viewpoint and my, not mythos, but kind of mythos of how I run my reality and the way I see reality.
Yeah.
I mean, we've discussed that 1,000 times, so.
Pretty much.
Well, I mean, you know me. I mean, you've really gotten to know me the last few years with all the talking we do and the weightlifting and whatnot. It's literally, no. You can try to kill me, try to beat me down. And I even told this to Sister Cook, who was helping me earlier today. No. My thing is, no matter how much you try to kill me or break me, I'm always coming back twice as strong. Come at me.
Yep.
I quite literally live the life, or live physically and mentally the way I always viewed Wolverine, who he should have been without the brain damage, no matter how much you hurt me. And that also kind of goes into me saying, mix the Saiyan race with Wolverine genetics.
Yep.
Like splice it together to make a new race.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Saiyan thing is, bring me to the brink of death. So when I come back, I'm 2 to 10 times stronger. Bring it.
Yeah.
It's the mentality, I will always heal, and no matter how bad you think I'm doing, I'm actually doing 10 times better.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I can handle the lunacy and reality the way I do. Because you always look at it, we talked about it, where you're like, I don't see how you can.
Yeah, no, it's been like
it's inspiring and confusing to your brain. We've talked about it immensely.
Yeah, because it's like I don't know how you deal with some of the shit you deal with her, your body changes, things like that.
All my lunacy.
Yeah, a lot of the insanity that is you and it is in your life that is like outside of this place
Constantly
and out there.
Yep.
Like I sit there and I watch it and I go, how the fuck is he still sane? How the fuck is he still like? Even if he's performing sanity, which is a lot of people do. A lot of people act like they're sane.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, like
that old saying.
How the hell is he like functioning like this? And you're just like, I just am. And I'm like, okay.
I've become.
Roll for initiative.
It's not even roll for initiative. Why?
Yeah.
Because that's who I am. How are you like this? Because that's how I'm like this. I don't get it. Exactly. I am. It's like the Torah, the original version that got translated to what is now considered the Bible. It's God's not saying I'm God because I am what I am. It's no, I'm God. How are you God? Because I am. But how? Because I am. It's not even a thought process. I am what I am because I am what I am, and I will always be what, who, and how I am.
Yeah.
That doesn't explain anything, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
And that's what it will always be. And it's like, my brain cannot process this. Welcome to seeing yourself as God of your own reality and using that mentality to literally do anything and everything you want all at once while not letting anything or everything outside of you control you.
Yep.
You have to control you. Which kind of goes into what we've talked about this whole time, and you telling your family about that sort of mentality. It's like, what? How?
Yep.
When you get there, you'll find out.
Yeah. My Tammy is consumed by anxiety and rage at the same time, but more anxiety. Josh is consumed by rage all the time. They all have a form of anger, like all of them. They all have a form of anger or form of
But
some form of
you use the
negativity.
little demons that poke and prod at your anger to power you and become more enlightened. You turn the negative into a positive. Pisses a lot of people off, but at the same time, oh, you hate me. I love you too.
Yep.
The fuck? That's not what I said!
Yeah.
No, that's what you will receive. You will always receive my love, no matter who and or what you do.
Yep.
Welcome to peace, tranquility, and zen.
Yep.
I don't understand it. Then stop trying to understand it and just be it.
Yep.
It's not, I wish I was a badass. I am a badass. I wish I was strong. No, I am strong. I wish I was zen. I am zen. It's the take out the wish. I am. I am strong. I am positive. I am intelligent. I'm smart. I am the most badass motherfucker you'll ever meet because my mentality is unbreakable and I am indestructible.
Yep.
Stop with the tingles. I know you're here. Cut it. No, they're doing the yes, yes. And I know you can hear them and sing them.
Yep.
Trying to tickle the back of my head. Stop it. I know where it's coming from. You don't have to show me. Yes, I'm completely nuts and at the same time absolutely insane, crazy, and a complete lunatic. But the funny part is, anybody who's completely insane is also a complete genius. Have fun with that narrative. All of you, everywhere, all over the internet.
He's been communicated to by stuff from the other dimension.
Ethereal beings that are always antagonizing me for my, well, antagonizing is not the right word. Who are always poking, prodding, and giving me little bits of poke. I know this. I know, I'm just reminding you. Okay.
Yep.
For me, it's just reality. It's like, how can you tell that they're ethereal or spiritual entities or whatever you want to call the extra dimensions that are always interacting with us? Because I feel them, hear them, and see them all the time.
Yep.
Seeing reality as a three-dimensional entity from the 5th dimension up to the 10th dimension and beyond can give you a migraine unless you know how to properly process the information. And I love that we've talked about this repeatedly on the podcast in the last month, that I like me saying that I can do that will confuse the shit out of a lot of people, but also, ooh, how, what, when.
Right.
And I've been doing this since I was like 8, 9 years old. So
I was doing a version of it when I was a kid. I just didn't understand what it was.
yeah, and with us talking about it, you've literally told me how I realized what I saw and how I saw everything as a kid, and I'm seeing it now as an adult again.
It's revenge.
Because I've become aware of my gifts and reality. I can now see and perceive all of it all at once. It's new, but also very familiar because I used to do it.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
It's familiar as fuck.
Lifting the veil off of yourself that was put on you because you came into existence in this reality from your ethereal premortal existence.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to that point, it's so enlightening. And I love that you've seen it, and it's the, yes, you're here.
Yep.
Now it's time to have fun and move up.
Pretty
Keep
much.
trucking until you become translated from this existence or translated from this body. What happened? Where'd he go? He literally moved on to the next plane. What do you mean? He's poking me on the shoulder, telling me to telling me to tell you to shut the fuck up. He has something to tell you, and it's gonna come through me. All right, are you ready?
Yep.
Wait, what? He's literally hanging out with God and Jesus, and Moses, and Noah, and Joseph Smith, and God, shut up! There's too many names to spell to all these people. That's what I see as the outcome. Either I get there, or when Jesus comes back, it's literally I get translated at that moment, or literally thrown into the shit stack, and it's like, oh well, I knew I might end up here.
The sad irony is that if Jesus were to come back, the people that we interact with on a daily will persecute him.
But they won't be able to.
Like the people around us will
because it will be
persecute him.
You cannot.
2,000 years later, they'll still persecute him.
It's the thing of they will attempt to, but once you have been resurrected, you are above and beyond being stopped or hurt in a physical way.
So you're saying
they
is
can
that
attempt,
he'll show up,
but literally,
and he'll be
if
like,
he says
Superman.
stop, no, because he is the entity who is given the rule book or the building block book blueprint on how to build this reality. He can control it. He says no. Those who are against me no longer exist. Goodbye. Literally instantly. The amount of people that would just delete from existence. And this goes into one of the podcasts I was listening to earlier today. Well, you can't prove that Jesus came back from the dead because that's against the laws of physics. Is it? This goes into something I've talked about a million times on the podcast, and now I'm saying it on TikTok is, no. That's from your viewpoint or your minuscule understanding of what you think is the laws of physics.
Yeah.
But your understanding and your viewpoint on what the laws of physics are is only level 1, or God, or Jesus God the Son, is literally knows how physics actually work at level 10. That's why he could walk on water. That's why, and this is something they brought up, well, he's the only and first entity that came back from the dead. Wrong! He rose Lazarus. Lazarus. I think that's the name. If not, correct me, I don't care, but he rose somebody from the dead. He literally he resurrected somebody.
Yeah.
Because they had, where your skin rips off of you, it literally melts off of you. He had, what is it? Is it the bubonic? No, it's not that one. It's
bubonic plague?
It's not the bubonic. It's the other one.
Where your skin melts off of you.
Yeah, the old biblical plague where your skin literally eats itself. It's just type in skin eating itself plague or biblical skin eating itself plague. I can't remember. But he literally he brought somebody back from the other side to tell everybody how stupid they were, or literally, you realize what you're doing and saying is literally sending you straight to hell.
Leprosy.
Yeah, leprosy. He had leprosy and you rose him, and when he rose from the dead, he no longer had leprosy. He was instantly cured. So, the podcast earlier today, I literally wanted to scream it at my phone. Lazarus was the first one to come back. Because type in, what the name of the plague is, Jesus brought back from the dead.
Leprosy, and then Jesus brought back from the dead?
Jesus resurrected, but yeah.
Jesus resurrected.
You can brought back from the dead, it's the same. I think it's the labyrinth. I know it begins with an L.
Okay, so...
leopard? No, not healing. Or wait, maybe it is healing. Hang on.
Where Jesus healed a leper. Man with leprosy came to him and begged him.
The lepers, living death. Leprosy. Nope. Then type in just Jesus resurrected.
Okay.
Remember, if or take off the disease part, but yeah, take off the leprosy. Just Jesus or person Jesus resurrected.
Lazarus.
Yeah, that's it. Lazarus.
That's what we were looking for?
Yeah. Because he literally rose from the dead, and his sister said, that's not possible. But yet, the guy literally told them everything and told them what they were doing that was literally basically fighting over, like, his shit after he was dead.
Yeah.
And how stupid they were. They were literally, because they were fighting over mortal possessions, they were actually putting more marks against them than they could ever do to positively be an outcome.
Yeah.
Because they were literally materialistic to such an extreme, which today's world is now, that it hindered them from becoming basically exalted enough or be in the favor or in the positive side of God, that they could make it to what is considered paradise, or what would be considered as close to paradise as you can get after dying on earth.
Interesting.
Yeah. I always found stuff like that very interesting. And yeah, but I mean, their thing, or the argument that the two guys were arguing, I mean, they were both idiots, by the way. They were both going back and forth and literally saying the exact same thing, but yet contradicting each other while trying to say the same thing, but not saying anything.
Yeah. To
prove/disprove that Jesus came back from the dead, because there's no proof he came back from the dead other than, like, the 4 to 20 people that witnessed him after he rose from the dead.
Yeah.
Weird stupidities.
Huh.
Oops, Tom?
That would be Alan.
Oh. Sorry, homie. Jump on the podcast, you'll find out. We can't hear your text messages or messages on YouTube, so text message, no call. You should tell them, in the middle of the podcast, text.
Yep.
But anywho, that was my thing, because Jesus rose Lazarus, whatever the guy's name is, from the dead.
Lazarus.
Yeah, Lazarus.
Yeah.
From the dead. And they're like, well, Jesus is the only one who came back from the dead. Actually, he's not. Y'all even pay attention to the scriptures? Y'all literally complaining, but yet Jesus is the second person that came back from the dead by the dynamics of the Christian Bible, with all the stories that are in it, even though 90% of them have been altered.
Yeah.
That I'm always bitching and complaining about, because Constantine literally turned Christianity into paganism. And Metaphysical kind of went over that today on their podcast, and my brain went, yes! Somebody's actually throwing out the truth. Hello, is anybody paying attention?
Yeah.
Fucking idiots. I've been saying this shit for years. And they're literally preaching it. Well, they're not preaching, but I mean, it was the whole point of today's podcast on their channel. I'm like, I've been saying this for years. Really? Everybody's just now coming to the realization? And my brain instantly went to, okay, so this is literally the end of times, because everything that anybody discusses or there's a debate about is coming to fruition as here's what the facts are, which is literally what's supposed to happen in the times where all the facts will become, or all the things that have ever been lied about, the truth of it will come to basically everybody's eyes.
Yeah.
Everybody will know the truth because it can no longer be hidden. Like the part that metaphysical talk about a guy who went and did through the what is it in New York, the big museum that's supposed to be the U.S. Museum of all history, blah blah blah, and he went to the Grand Canyon and literally found golden plates like Joseph Smith talks about, and treasures like Joseph Smith talks about when he found the cave with the golden / brass plates, because brass looks like gold, that he translated into the Book of Mormon. Literally talk about that it's in the Grand Canyon and it's now a caged off. You can't go there by the Smithsonian. That's what it was. That's the big museum.
Yeah.
They literally marked it off because it literally proved Catholicism is literally a Luciferian church, and everything you've ever been taught ever by anybody who says they're Christian or otherwise is completely full of shit. And it also proves that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is actually the true church.
Yeah.
And they literally shit their pants on it and said, we're gonna block it off, don't take anything out of it, fuck shit, we're all screwed. Nobody must know about this. That's also like the Smithsonian saying, everything that happened before Christopher Columbus is imaginary and it's all myth. So all the old gods, all the old mythoses that they're now starting to talk about more openly nowadays, because they can't get, it all can't get wiped all at once because the internet's constant and always alive.
Yeah.
The truth is coming out because it is the end of times, 1, and 2, it literally proves that when the idiots who were in charge of or took over the Smithsonian, basically the guys who pay for the government and everything in existence in this country, and now 90% of the world, literally proves that they don't want you to know, so they're going to call it mythos, propaganda, or conspiracy theories. Literally is proven as fact on 90% of it, 80 to 90% of it, or more. Literally is now, whether they like it or not, proves it's the end of times, 1. 2, also proves everything you've ever been told in school or otherwise, 80 to 90% of it's all complete bullshit, lies, or just, hey look, what's the guy that was supposedly rode the whole way for the, us fighting for independence?
You talking about for America?
Yeah. Us fighting against England. The first war of America so we could get our independence as a country.
Right.
The Rhine. Paul Revere.
Paul Revere.
Now, he actually wasn't the one who did all of the writing. It was another guy who actually did more than Paul Revere did and took it longer and went from the bottom to the top, where Paul Revere stopped halfway through in Virginia.
Yeah.
And the other guy went all the way, but because Paul Revere's name is catchy and we can turn it into a rhyme, he's the one who gets all the credit and gets the fandom. Even though he's not the guy who actually did what they claim he did.
Yeah.
Which proves also that everything they've told you since fucking elementary school is all lies and bullshit. Including Columbus. Why are we not Columbia?
Because of the fact
because Columbus was never going to have the name of this country, because when he came here, other people came over too to see if he was full of shit or if he'd actually make it into India, and actually found out that Native people called this something that sounds like America, so they just said, okay, we're going to use their name, we're going to slightly alter it so it sounds cool. So it's the English version of what they're calling it. So it was never going to become that, and the guy that they say is the one who said, I went there first, and his name sounds like America, that's why we're called America, is propaganda and lie also.
So you're trying to say that a lot of the stuff we learned in history is incorrect?
Everything you've ever learned in history class, 80 to 90% of it is all complete bullshit propaganda, or, hey, this sounds pretty in a song or a rhyme, this is what we're going to say it is, even though it's not.
So does this validate the argument that a lot of the liberals make where it's whitewashed history?
Oh, it's even better than that because it makes liberals look like idiots, because liberals, 90% of them are what? Atheists.
Fair.
who say everything that happened in the Bible couldn't happen in the Bible, even though everything that happened in the Bible happened exactly how it says it happened, even though it's altered, it's still 80% correct, because he knew if he changed the story too much, Constantine, that the people who originally knew the story would come out and bitch, cuss, and make a big ruckus about it, because 90% of the Christians at that time were actually Israelites in Judea. They were from the 12 tribes of Israel.
Okay.
Basically what was considered Judaism then. And they would bitch, cuss, and raise a fuss. And those who did bitch, cuss, and raise a fuss got killed by the Romans for being people who were spreading lies about the church. And what the church really was saying was 100% honest.
Yeah.
So you can't even 100% trust any scriptures except for the Book of Mormon, because it was actually properly translated without any alterations or hindrances or changes. The only slight changes they've done with that book is change it so that way it's understandable from Old English, which is what they spoke when it was originally translated, to current language, so that way you actually understand what it actually says. There's not an actual change in what it says, it's just a properly moving it to the current language spoken.
Yeah.
Never change the word, never change what it said, just altering it with the alterations that happen with the English language from old school to current day. It is the most you could say that they've changed it. Or other people who have other versions of the Book of Mormon that they say have changed, or not actually changed, that's just they took it, altered it, took the pages out, and put the pages back in as they changed it.
Yeah.
And Joseph Smith actually prophesied that that would happen repeatedly to anything he said and or printed. The other people would come out, well, this is what it originally said, or this is what it originally said, or this is what it actually said. Because that's what everybody does.
Yeah.
I'm going to propaganda and call you a Luciferian or a Satan worshiper and say it's all lies. You only gave out 90% of what the actual scripture said, because they literally stole the transcripts from him, his original translation, from the 2 brass/golden plates he had at the time.
Yeah.
And because the person who was transcribing it for him got pressured into showing other people, and they literally took it and said, that's not what it said, it actually says this. We've actually seen the original script, or we copied the original script. They literally had to throw away the first book translation and just go with the second book, and that is what is called now the Book of Mormon.
Yeah. Interesting.
Literally, somebody
So who
tried to
wrote the
screw him
original?
when he originally translated, because the book starts with First Nephi, right?
Right.
But it talks about his dad, Lehi, the original prophet. And the first book was Lehi's book.
So, who came up with the golden plates in the first place? That
Nobody came
the
up
Smith
with it
guy
because
translated.
it tells in the story that Lehi sent Nephi, Sam, Laban, and Lemuel, which are the 4 brothers. Laban and Lemuel are the oldest 2. Laban's the oldest, then it's Lemuel. Then it's Sam and Nephi. Nephi's the youngest. But because he was the purest of soul and heart, and never fought his father, he became the next prophet because God could talk to him because he had no hindrances or bullshit. Like I always talk to you about, getting in your own way.
Right.
You don't want to see reality because you don't like the new pile of shit, which is harder, but it will make you a better person and enlighten you.
Right.
Nephi had the clarity to know what God says is what God says, and if God says it, it's fact. There's no bullshit translation or workaround.
Yeah.
So he literally went and did what the Spirit, basically God, or the Holy Ghost, depending on how you want to look at it, told him, not verbally, but literally, this is what you need to do. Like, you hear the voices. Sometimes it's not always a voice, but you know what it says, even though you don't hear what it says.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm always doing.
That's kind of how it is for me.
If you see me when I'm talking to other people or talking to the other entities, and I'm like,
sometimes
no,
it's just
shut up,
simple
not right now.
signals where my brain is receiving the signal, the electromagnetic
And sometimes
wave,
you hear it verbally,
and I'll hear it
sometimes you just
verbally in
feel
my
it.
head of like actual English words. Sometimes it's just simply a signal, and I inherently, like, sixth sense, know what to say.
Exactly.
It's hard to explain.
That's basically what the Book of Mormon says. That they went and got the book that had Lehi, their father, the genealogy for their whole family,
Yeah.
to prove that they were actually members of the one of the 12 tribes of Israel. And that, I think, is one of the books that they found in the Grand Canyon, because God also told Joseph Smith that this cave I've shown you is not always going to be here. I will and can move it because, I mean, it's God. He can do whatever he wants. This is his reality. He is the ultimate entity of physics in this reality. Basically, God the Father or God the Son. Either way you want to look at it, it's literally God saying, I will move it if and when I want to.
Right.
It is my reality. I can literally go cut, okay, take part from this mountain, copy, okay, cut this part out, put it there, okay, done.
I literally got two different signals in my head. One said, I am, and then another one said, indeed.
Yep. But, I mean, the
it's
point...
probably Yahweh and Loki.
Well, you gotta actually listen. I mean, I don't know if you've actually listened to or read the Book of Mormon with the app I gave you, or how far you've gotten into First Nephi.
I've touched and go. I just have been so busy with...
Oh, no, I get it. That's why I'm saying, like...
Playing
Like
caretaker.
with the whole Matt Rife thing, like, listen to it while you're at work, because it'll just feed in, and you gotta listen to it 2 or 3 times before it, like, just click, instant no.
Yeah.
But because I've literally listened to it, and I always
figure
grew up
I'm
with the
gonna
stories in the church...
I'm also glad I found a way to
I
get these
know
charts.
this shit.
Because these are better than the J-Labs. They just...
Yeah, the J-Labs are kind of going to shit right now, unless you buy a new pair, like, what is it, every 2 years?
It's kind of weird because I've only had those pairs since, like, what, summer? This last summer?
I thought you bought them last year. And 22.
No, those are the other ones that I bought last year.
Okay.
The sport ones I got this year, I got them like a few months ago.
Oh, you got the hook ones?
Yeah, I got the hook ones a few months ago. And
okay, I wasn't sure.
And they're going out.
I don't like the sport ones because the sport ones are kind of iffy.
Yeah, they're going out.
But that's
now.
also why I bought the skull candies. I mean, Connor's had them for whatever now.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're $20 where the J-Labs are now 25, so it's like I'm gonna buy the skull candies.
Everyone has been telling me that they can't fucking hear me, and Ember will call me while I'm in here. I'll have the earbud in
I think it's because it's the sport ones, because they're more for you to listen to music than hear people.
And I noticed that when Alan calls me, anybody calls me, you call me, friggin' nobody can fucking hear me, and I'm like,
well, I could hear you, it was just muffled. I'm like, dude,
like,
you sound muffled.
Like, bruh, like, they sounded great, like, months ago when I got them.
Maybe it's just a bad batch, because, you know, if you make 1 million pairs of something, you're always going to have one out of every, like, 100,000 pieces of shit, or one out of every 1,000.
Tank the bed 3 months later.
Yeah, I mean, and if it's gone to crap, I mean, it's already too late to get a replacement because how long it's been at Walmart, but I mean, you can just go buy another pair and see if they work better, because it's the, let's see if they work, you know, roll the dice, see what you get. Fuck, I got them 2. They only worked for 2 months.
Whereas these have been around for at least a year or 2 now, and they work great still.
And which ones are those?
These are the
Samsung ones?
These are the Samsung Buds 2.
Well, that's why, because it's the Samsung. That's like the Apple ones.
The only thing that's bad is the case itself, the charger port, is dying, so I have to buy myself a new case. The beer buds themselves are perfect.
You might be able to get a replacement on Amazon.
I'm looking for a replacement case. So
if you can't
the sad part is that a lot of
if
tech
you can't get it on
companies...
Amazon, you'd have to go through the Samsung company and call or
go to the
email
Samsung website
them to find out if you can get, because
do like a replacement case.
I did that with the J-Labs, because, you know, the one got lost.
Yep.
They sent me a replacement, and they both won't connect at once. but I can use each one individually.
Yeah.
So,
Makes
and
sense.
it fits in the charging case, and I'm good to go. I just bought a new pair, so that way if I want to use them, I'll just.
I used AirPods for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes at my brother's friend's house because the guy had a pair of AirPods, and then my brother had a different version of these. They had Buds 2 with him, and he had me use his so that I could test them out. These are far more superior to even AirPods.
Well, because they're made for Android phones, and you have a Samsung, so they're going to work best with Samsung. Samsung works best with Samsung. Just like Apple shit works best with
His
Apple
AirPods.
shit.
His AirPods work with every single phone you've ever had.
No.
I just happen to
But
like
the
those.
thing is, if it's the same manufacturer
Yeah.
for both products, they work better together, they last longer, they don't die as soon. And if they die, because it's one of the bigger companies that made it, they will send you a replacement. And if you're lucky, you pay for the replacement, but as soon as we get the old ones that are broken back,
Yeah.
we'll refund your card.
Yeah.
So you have to send it back with the label they send with the new pair. It's not that hard. It's a slight pain in the ass, but I mean, pocket?
Easy, simple, barely convenience.
Yeah. You pay $300. Yay, okay. We got the shitty ones. Hope you like the new ones. Here's your $300 back. Or here's $250 back because we're going to charge you $50 for shipping.
Yeah, because I had the Buds, the original Samsung Buds, before I got these.
Yeah.
And the only difference, the only bad thing about these is they have 1 hour less battery life on the Buds themselves, but they have five more hours battery life in the case. So it's like a trade-off.
Well, that's why I'd use one ear each. You know?
Yeah.
That goes into my thing. Okay, use, replace, use, replace, use,
Yeah, you
replace
just swap
until
them out repeatedly.
the battery case dies in this. Okay, plug in battery case.
Yeah,
Done.
pretty much.
I can work around with anything. You know
Yeah.
me. I'm so multifaceted. Oh, look, it's a piece of shit. Okay. Ta-da! I made it work when it fucking falls apart.
Yep.
Not like it bugs me. I mean, I'm just like,
Yeah, so I was listening
Come at it.
to Lord of the Rings, the very first book, first chapter, in fact,
nice.
while the wife was inside the store getting some stuff, and I had listened to it with the left earbud, and I was like, wait a minute, I can burn through that recording series that they showed me really fast. I just would have to just have the earbud in my ear, and while we're on the go, we just be listening to it nonstop, even if we're busy with stuff. That's how I'll be playing. To the point where people will ask me a question and a Bible quote will fly out of my mouth. Or a Book of Mormon quote will fly out of my mouth, and they'll be like...
Or any quote will fly
and
out of your mouth.
they'll be like, where the hell did that come from? I'll be like, sorry, I've been chronically listening to the Book of Mormon for hours.
Why?
So I can burn through it.
Because everybody always calls them full of shit. Nobody ever listens or looks at it, so I want to listen to it.
Yeah.
Because also, later on in the Book of Mormon, it literally goes over how Laman and Lemuel's descendants are called the Lamanites. And
Yeah.
Nephi and Sam's, the good sons, even though Sam has his hiccups, are called the Nephites. Because, the two bigger people,
Yeah.
we're just going to call ourselves this and this. And it even goes over in a couple of the books where literally a Nephite, the good guys, the lighter skinned brethren,
Mm-hmm.
it's the lighter skinned, like, Jewish, the lighter skinned.
Yeah.
But the ones who are the bad ones actually become permanently tan. Hey, look, Native Americans, because they're in America.
Yeah.
So, here's the funny part on that one. Literally, every time, because every once in a while it'll flip-flop, where the Lamanites will become the righteous and the Nephites become the dark. Always the yin and yang, bounce back and forth.
Yeah.
Whenever the Nephites become the dark ones, their skin darkens because they're always outside. But one of the funny things I like about in the book is the Nephites talking to the guy, one of the tribes of the Lamanites, and he's literally like, wait, what are you talking? Oh, you're talking about the big spirit. Basically like Native Americans. Oh, the biggest spirit of them all, the God of gods.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you listen to it, you literally hear the Native American mythos. Oh, you mean God. But he doesn't say God. He calls him, the Great Spirit.
Yeah.
Or something to that extent.
So that's what's being referred to with Great Spirit. It's
literally talking about God,
Yeah.
but because they no longer remember the name Yahweh or God, because they've become so away from it,
Yeah.
they just call it the big spirit, or, whatever their language says it is now. They remember and know that's what he is, but they don't remember his original name, or that's what he is, because of them becoming away and forgetting the truth, because it's so many generations down the road where we're not going to tell the truth, or we don't believe in that, so we're not going to preach it or speak about it.
Yeah.
The entity that made this world is the entity that made this world in this reality. He's the biggest, most badass of all the biggest badasses. He's top spirit.
Yeah.
It's like the great spirit, like most of the Native American tribes always talk about. And the end of the Book of Mormon is literally Moroni, the son of Mormon, literally writing how, because they'd fallen too far away from the true path, the Nephites, that them and the Lamanites fighting, they killed off all the light-skinned brothers, the Nephites. And some of the stuff I like that they talk about in metaphysical, that they've brought up, that yes, but a lot of the mythos that is in a lot of the Native American tribes is the lighter skinned people. Hey, you mean the Nephites? They don't call them the Nephites because they lose the name. They forget.
Yeah.
That's what the brethren were called, because Nephi was the prophet. Forgot the name. So you literally call them something else in your mythos, in the legends of the Native American. Literally, if you listen to all the Native American mythos and read the whole Book of Mormon, all of it lines up, almost drop for drop. Slightly different on the names they use, but it's literally the same thing.
Yeah.
Constantly. And all the stuff that you hear on a lot of the podcasts where people who talk about the Native American tribes and all their mythoses and other things, shit literally lines up with the Book of Mormon, but yet he was full of shit. And this was like in the early 1900s, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
When Joseph Smith went to pray and ask God what, who, where, when, and why, and actually got, okay, here's who, what, where, when, and why, and they're all a bunch of idiots, because they're literally worshiping Satan while saying, praise Jesus, praise God, we love you, Jesus, we love you, God.
Yeah.
But yet they also wear crosses, which is literally the symbol of Jesus' death. So how are you a Christian while worshiping by wearing the idol of your Christ, Messiah's death? You literally are worshiping his death, not his resurrection, not who he truly was, and not what his true message is. Which literally proves all of your Christianity and all the bullshit you preach and cuss and scream and jump up and down how your church is better than mine, literally proves it's all lies and bullshit.
Yeah.
Dude, this is where my mind goes all the time with all the shit I listen to.
Yeah,
You are
zooming a
literally
million miles a
proving
minute.
me everything I've ever thought of and everything I know is factual and reality
Yeah.
in the church, out of the church, and everything I've seen from every point of view. I am right. Kiss my ass. Let's fight. Because I know it's facts. And literally while I'm listening to everybody else come to reality or talk about how they've known this for the years or how this is how they see it, and I just go, they're right in front of your face the whole time. Nobody pay attention to the books. Oh wait, that's right, everybody thinks the Book of Mormon is complete bullshit. How about you fuckers actually read it and look at the mythos of the Native American tribes and all this stuff that's been going around for at least the last 200 years, 300 years?
Yeah.
Since 1776, since America got its independence, and all the bullshit we put on the Native Americans and all the mythos and truths they've told.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Pay attention. It's all right in front of your face. Actually look at the facts. The facts line up and disprove everything or 90% of, 80 to 90% of everything you've ever been told about history, what's real, and how archaeology is complete bullshit because they don't line up anything with anybody who actually has any knowledge on how to build and or construct pyramids or any of the great mega buildings around the world. And but yet you also claim giants don't exist, but yet giants are the only ones who could lift stones that big.
Yeah.
And if you agree with the mythos that it was them blowing on horns or blowing on something that moves stuff by sound, which means they had the technology and knowledge of supersonics, which also goes back to the fallen angels, literally teaching man how to use technology beyond their knowledge, basically God technology, which looks like magic. It all fits in with everything, every mythos about this God came or this entity came and they are our God because they taught us how to do all this stuff. But yet it's not the current residents or the residents that claim that's what happened. It's literally their ancestors. They're just repeating their ancestor stories and claiming that's what happened when they were alive, when it actually happened 5 generations back to 10 generations back with their ancestors.
Huh.
Oh yeah. The way everything fits together, the only issue is the timeline that we're currently taught and how far back and stuff it happened. You gotta move that timeline or that goalpost because you're in the wrong century, you're in the wrong fucking decade, you're in the wrong part of time. We weren't all just cavemen idiots. Noah, his 3 sons, and their 3 wives. That's the begin, the restart, the current shit. And if the flood didn't kill all the giants that it was supposed to kill, then that also brings in back to the genetics. That's one of the podcasts I was seeing where they were talking about giants.
Yeah.
Brings back into the genetics. It didn't kill all of them because some of them hid in the caves. The big giant 2-ton caves that there are no bones, there's no nothing in it. But yet the cave was still covered over. Was it covered over because the giants that came out of the cave after the flood and decided to wait a generation or 2 because they lived longer than Homo sapiens, mortals, that they literally waited to have sex with women, and that's where you get Goliath and stuff because there's 2 or 3 generations down. They're not 50 foot tall, they're only 10 foot tall because they keep shrinking because they keep procreating with smaller mortal humans, regular humanoids. But they can only live so much longer than us because of the flood and other stuff. We can no longer live as long as we used to because of the flood, the plants had to change their genetics to regrow, resupply, and because of the seeds and whatnot he took, and then growing them in soil that did not have the nutrients to make it, so that way it could give you the proper nutrients, so that way you could live to almost 900, almost 1,000 years old, living in your 900s, like it talks about all through first book of the Bible, Genesis. I saw the word, my brain was just bleh for a second. But because of that, because there wasn't as many nutrients, because the whole world was flooded, so it was half salt water, half not salt water, serving the whole planet. That literally proves the point of that's why we can't live to 900 years anymore, because literally the food supply became altered because not a good growing crops or land to grow crops on. And because it's gotten worse and worse over the centuries.
Well, now it's to the point where they're now just simply manufacturing food.
Fake
They're farming
food.
it.
Yeah, it's like properly farming it. They're literally, which means it's all fake. All the chicken you eat isn't actually chicken. All the beef you're eating, 90% of it isn't beef. All this and that is fake. They're trying to make you eat the Impossible Burger. You know why it's impossible? Because it's impossible to survive on that. If you eat the Impossible Burger, you're literally going to die from malnutrition because it doesn't have enough nutrition in it.
Impossible Burger?
The Impossible Burger is the thing they created that's supposed to taste like hamburger, but yet it's not hamburger. It's literally bugs and plants smashed together to look like a hamburger.
Interesting.
It's fake meat pretending to be meat. It's
Yeah.
literally vegan. But it's vegan to the extent of eat it so that way you die younger. They're
Funny
literally
is-
trying to kill us faster.
When I went to Bear River High, up north in Logan,
Uh-huh.
like that area, they actually had vegan burgers up there. They had vegan burgers. This is back in 2008.
This is Burger King's thing. The
Yeah.
Impossible Whopper or whatever
Well,
it is.
This was before
But,
the
yeah.
Impossible Burger probably existed.
But I'm saying,
But what I'm saying is that I tried vegan burgers
the
up there and they
old
weren't that bad.
vegan burgers, because I've worked at what used to be
They've
the
probably
Kellogg's
changed it.
factory over there.
Yeah.
With the kidney beans and the other stuff they put in it.
Yeah.
So that way it tastes different. Or it tastes closer to burgers because they add in also all the flavors for that. But
Mhm.
now they've changed it and said, no, eat this, it's better. And they've literally proven, because people tested it for a month or two,
Yeah.
and they did blood tests to see if it was good. It actually is 10 times worse for you, and it's killing you faster because you're now malnourished.
Yeah.
Fun. Well, let's end this one. Go take care of that stupidity, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we only have 10 minutes to midnight, so we're
Close enough.
yeah, we're close enough there to call it. But next week we'll talk about Matt Rife.
Here's hoping.
This will be take 3 next week of attempt at that, and
the controversy and the reality of the special.
we'll see where we go next week with everything. I'm TPAW,
Karnage 6778 or the Karnage.
and this has been Crazy Peas. And have a week, and stay
Don't
safe. And
hand me my
meow.
Hand me the TikTok lunacy. Have a good week. We'll see y'all next time. Don't die. And be happy about everything, even if it's shitty.
Same bad time, same bad channel.